Good morning, I'm Jacob Reimer. The Big Four Ohio basketball schools are finally getting together on the hardwood. It was announced yesterday that Ohio State, Cincinnati, Xavier, and Dayton will play in an exhibition event this fall called the CareSource Invitational. The games will be played on October 7th and be played outdoors at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio, home of the Cincinnati Open. Ohio State will take on Cincinnati while Xavier will play Dayton in the preseason doubleheader. More college basketball news. The NCAA yesterday picked Wichita to join Dayton as the other host of the opening round of the NCAA tournament for 2027 and 2028. This decision coming after the tournament was expanded to 76 teams. In baseball yesterday, the Guardians beat the Twins 5-2 to avoid a sweep by Minnesota. Cleveland will stay on the road and visit the Marlins tonight at 7:10. As for the Reds, it was a pitcher's duel in Cincinnati. The Redlegs fell to the Phillies 1-0. They'll stay at home tonight to begin a weekend series with the Cubs. First pitch tonight also at 7:10. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Beau Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Rieser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
In baseball, they say 1 out of 3 isn't bad. In fact, actually, if you're 1 out of 3, that's really good. But on this program, we're not allowed to talk about baseball, so that's a little bit of a dilemma. And I have another dilemma as well today as we open the show. I'm Ryan Baker. I am the one of the 1 out of 3. No Beau Bishop today. No Eric Rieser. So I am joined today to my right by Austin Ward. And over on the other side of the glass, you heard him on the update there, Jacob Reimer. So, Austin, is there any worse day of work than a Friday when vacation starts the next day? Because I'm wheels up at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I'm heading south to Florida for the week.
Ooh.
So is there any worse day of work than that?
Well, it's funny that you bring that up because I was talking about that before we left for the Alaskan cruise a couple of weeks ago, because someone later on today on this network claims that the build up to the first day of vacation is the best part. Like, this day of work would have Tim Hall excited and like bouncing off the walls, and then everything else is downhill from there.
We all know he's insane. I mean, nobody,
one way of putting it.
Nobody believes that, right?
No, this is going to be a long day for you. This will be the longest shift that you've ever had, and we're going to try. I mean, you said 1/3 of Bishop and Friends. You got 2/3 of the Buckeye show, so
we're melding.
We're going to try and help this time go fast for you.
No, we're gonna have a fun show. We've got a lot of fun things coming up, including Jake Diebler, the head coach of your men's basketball team. You heard Jacob Reimer there in the update talking about the CareSource Invitational. We will get into that here in a couple minutes. Ohio State, Cincinnati, Dayton, and Xavier getting together for a big exhibition tournament down at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason. But so not only is today Friday and vacation starts tomorrow, but no Beau, no Reese. So, and Reese and I usually tag team the show sheet, and I reached out to you guys and said, hey, what do we want to talk about tomorrow? And you guys gave ideas and stuff, and you helped out with that, so that was good. So it's not like...
I don't know if we did. Reimer, we didn't put anything in there, did we? Actually, I said, I don't know if Diebler is going to be able to come on. He's supposed to be flying out to Vegas. I actually tried to damage your show sheet.
Yeah, we got it, though. We made it happen.
I mean, I gave him a few things that I had saw.
Reimer sent some text to some people that he knows, and he got things done. But so I'm not going to say I did all of the work on the show because that's not true, but more responsibility on the show. And then I have to do updates as well after the show. So I'm here until 2. So they're just extending all of this, and all the anticipation is right there. And
I think that'll make the time go fast.
I think it will too, as well. And
What's on tap in Florida?
Nothing. A week of pool or ocean and good drinks and good food, and that's it.
What more can you ask for?
No golf? Not
Prime
playing any golf?
Right.
I mean, you look like a golfer today.
I am
Wearing
not.
a very nice polo.
This is very light and airy for the hot weather that we've been having. But no, there's no golf. Like, I'm not going down there to do anything but relax, recharge, get ready for football season.
That's fair.
People are going to be like, hey, you want to come down here and play some sand volleyball? No, I don't.
My
Well,
goodness.
that's an easy one to pass on.
I want to
Golf,
sit
though.
I want to sit right here in this pool with my drink right next to me. That's what I want to do.
Reimer, are you saying you want to hop out and play some sand volleyball?
I'd have a good time with that. I love a good spike ball, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds awful hot.
I get after it in spike ball. I'll jump over the net, do like between the legs, stuff like that.
Hey, you want to play some can jam? No, I don't. I want to sit right here in this water. It's 95 degrees out there. I'm good.
You have
Right
to move
here.
around a lot for can jam.
I mean, a little bit.
Little cornhole.
A little bit. And there's a lot of that out there.
I mean,
I'll watch
you
it.
could actually practice golf shots in the sand. Work on your sand game.
I mean, no.
That's too far.
I've seen.
Okay,
If he
sorry.
doesn't want to play golf,
I've seen
I'm
people
sorry.
down
I'm
there
sorry.
with. Yeah, I would much rather go golf than practice sand shots on the beach.
I'm just
but
saying that the true
I've
sickos
seen
will do
people
that.
take their mitts down there and throw baseballs. I'm like, you guys have fun. I'm going to sit right here and relax. Real quick, you're a big soccer guy, Austin.
Yeah.
So, World Cup quarterfinals got underway yesterday. France beat Morocco. We've got one more coming up today with Spain and Belgium. And then tomorrow you got Norway, England, Argentina, Switzerland. Are you still locked in on this? Are you all the way with the World Cup here now that Team USA is out?
I'm not as invested, obviously, because I am a huge supporter of our country, our great nation, America 250. That celebration fizzled out with the loss on Monday night. But these are still the best players in the world in the most popular sport in the world. I know you hate it, Baker. I hope at some point you'd turn on at least 15 minutes of the World Cup. Did you get any of it at all? Have you watched a second?
Well, I mean, we talked about this. I did watch a second because someone at an establishment said, hey, don't look at that TV. So, of course, you look.
Yeah.
And there it was. But no, I have not sat down in my house and been like, hey, I watched Sopranos instead.
Okay.
When Team USA played the other night. And I know I'm anti-American, whatever, but
How many times have you been through The Sopranos?
this is my first time.
Okay.
I've
all right.
never
Well, I
watched
was
it
going to say,
before.
if we're watching reruns instead of the World Cup,
no, this was not a rerun.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I was watching Love Island, but I did have the USA game on my laptop with a Summer League game.
Okay, so this is where I want to go next with you. You are a basketball guy.
Yeah.
You love golf as well.
is?
You watch all sports. Are you still locked into the World Cup? Are you still tuning in?
I guess maybe more for work purposes, like for updates and stuff like that. Like I was including the France game last night in my updates. So it's easy here because it's the only thing on. It's also live. So that was nice about that. And so I could watch it to help with my updates and whatnot. But I guess I'll still tune in a little bit. Mostly
You were
mostly
texting
for
me
the
and
final.
Beamer about Argentina the other day.
Well, I think I was in here though, and so I was in here doing Rothman and Ice, and I had it on, and that was one of the craziest comebacks I'll ever see. So no, I'll still tune in mostly for the final, but yeah, NBA Summer League's tuning up, so I'm going to be locked
You
into
were
that.
watching
You're a
European
sicko.
under 17 or something
Yes, I was.
the other day.
Yes, I was.
And I did, Reimer said, for updates, when I came in here and after Balogun got the red card, I was doing updates that day. So I went back and I watched those highlights, made sure I knew how to pronounce Fuller and Balogun's name so
I
I
wish
didn't
Berman-
sound like an idiot.
I wish
but-
Berm had done that on Monday. I was calling him.
Did he botch it up?
Yeah, I was calling him baloney. And I said, I invited him out to go watch the game on Monday night at Land Grant with, our friends and family. And he's like you. He will watch it. That's the first game that he's ever watched with me, but
He's not going to watch another one ever again.
he was very angry with the outcome and that he had got all dressed up and come down to Land Grant to ostensibly celebrate an American victory in our country and then saw one of the worst performances in the history of the Federation. But he not only did he mess up Flair and Balogun's name, but he also was butchering Christian Pulisic's name in a way that don't think I'm allowed to say on the air this morning. And so, so I'm like, man, those are the two best players, or I don't know if we can say that about Pulisic right now.
He was hurt. He was hurt.
Yeah, microfracture. I've got a microfracture everywhere right now.
We're old.
I said, you cannot show up to the American Outlaws watch party and not even know how to say their names. Like, let's work on this a little bit. And he didn't. So it didn't get much better. And then the real problem became, as he got more confident as the evening went along in his soccer knowing abilities and was suggesting rule changes and breaking down the X's and O's of what the Yanks were doing. I was like, I'm very upset. I'm angry with what's happening, and you're not making this any better. And I'm not going to laugh at your jokes right now. This is not the time and not the place.
Negative Berm, not trying to be negative.
He was
crazy.
He was going as negative as you've ever heard.
He was needling at that point, right?
He was. And he was getting frustrated that I wouldn't laugh at his jokes. So he's mad that he's watching the United States. I don't know what they no-showed the game. We all know that. But he's used to having this audience with, his friend and his co-host and his colleague, embracing all of his humor. And some of the jokes were funny. He was most proud, Reimer, as a hoops head, he was calling those the Belgium City Connect jerseys. and I completely no-sold it, ignored it. And he's like, come on. He's like, that guy over there, he's 2 tables away, he's laughing. You don't think that's funny? I'm like, it might have been. I don't know. I don't care right now. I don't have a sense of humor.
I'm not happy. Leave me alone.
You should know a little bit about this, being a Bengals and Reds fan.
That's why I thought that the United States national team would be a perfect fit for him. We got room. You like watching your team fall flat on the biggest stage? He's been doing that his whole life.
We've got a fun program coming up. Bill Conley, who writes for ESPN, maybe a little disrespect for Ryan Day. We will talk about that. Our normal Friday conversation with Tim May at 10:30. We already mentioned Jake Diebler, the head coach of your Ohio State men's basketball team, kind enough to join us at 11:15. And then The Athletic had an interesting piece about fan bases in hockey that should feel the most insulted right now. We are going to talk to Aaron Portzline of The Athletic about that and where the Blue Jackets are, and if there's any maybe new news or anything coming for the Blue Jackets here this offseason. But we already mentioned it, the CareSource Invitational. The news broke yesterday during our show. We'll break it all down coming up next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Joint pain is awful when you're the person who's fighting through it. But I'm betting you aren't the only one affected by it. Maybe you love someone who struggled with joint pain. You see what they don't say, what they slowly stop doing. It's July. It's time to be outside, moving, playing, living, and you have to sit it out. Hey, it's Tyvis Powell. Let's talk about getting that life back. At QC Kinetics here in the Columbus area, that's what's happening every day with Dr. Ray Tasner and his team. People who are stuck in that cycle of pain in their hips, knees, shoulders, and back, they are finally stepping out of it with regenerative treatments done right here in the office. No surgery, long recovery, or putting life on hold. Just real relief. The inflammation eases and the pain lets go. We hear it all the time, not just from patients, but from the people around them. He's back. She's herself again. So if this sounds like you or someone you love, go find out what's possible. QC Kinetics offers a free consultation to see if you're a good candidate. Go to QCkinetics/Columbus or call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
$604 million. That's the Ohio Lottery's current Mega Millions jackpot. $604 million. That's 604 million more reasons to play. Buy your Mega Millions tickets today. If scratching is more your style, check out the new $50 Millionaire Blowout Scratch-Off for a shot at $1 million instantly. Or pick up any Ohio Lottery Scratch-Off to put a little play in your day. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
The big one returns to Ohio. It's the Good Guys 28th Summit Racing Nationals presented by Grundy Insurance. See over 6,000 of the nation's baddest hot rods, muscle cars, and classic trucks on display. And don't miss There's good guys autocross racing action, a tire-smoking burnout competition, a pro street takeover, an earth-shaking nitro thunderfest. Meet the top builders and so much more. Happening all this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
Hi, I'm Patty, founder of Awesome Tex. I started with a big idea to give old clothes a new life by turning them into recycled fibers and threads. Everyone told me that this was going to be impossible, but Chase for Business believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning.
Get financial guidance from bankers in the Columbus community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
I'm Brian Albizu, traffic anchor for 10 TV News this morning. Columbus is quickly becoming my home, and this community has welcomed me with open arms. My mission is simple, to help you get to where you're going quickly and safely. Whether it's helping you beat the slowdown on 270 or giving you detours around major construction, we've got you covered. Because when your morning's on the move, so are we. Make the move to 10 TV News this morning, weekdays from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Getting a speeding ticket can ruin your day. But what about that cyclist or the pedestrian crossing the street? If you hit them while speeding, you'll do more than just ruin their days. That's why tickets are more than just a fine. They're a second chance. A reminder of what's on the line when you're behind the wheel. You won't get a do-over every time. So take this as your sign to follow the speed limit every drive. Speeding slows you down. Paid for by NHTSA.
What defines Ohio? A place that dares to go first and never looks back. There's no slowing us down. In Ohio, we're powering America, discovering breakthroughs, driving the future, propelling tomorrow. At Jobs Ohio, our mission is clear. Strengthen job opportunities and empower Ohio's workforce. Ohio, our time is now. See Ohio's momentum at jobsohio.com/Ohio's time.
Your favorite fan shows are available as a podcast. What a concept. And don't miss exclusive podcast content like Austin and Byrne. Listen on your schedule from anywhere in the world. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Still watching for a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms for the rest of the day. Better chances later on. Could be a localized downpour from that. Partly to mostly cloudy skies and highs in the mid-80s. For overnight, a few showers or storms are possible, mainly early in the night, lows in the upper 60s. Then for Saturday, another chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly in the afternoon, highs in the mid-80s. For The Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
Yes, it is. Ryan Baker, Austin Ward, Jacob Reimer, in with you on your Friday. We mentioned yesterday during the show, we got the news of the Care Source Invitational happen. It's the first time ever the 4 Ohio major basketball programs will get together on one court. Cincinnati, Ohio State, Dayton, and Xavier will all play outdoor exhibition games on October 7th at the Lindner Family Tennis Center down in Mason. That's the home of the Cincinnati Open. Austin, we have begged for something like this for a long time, whether it be you rotate opponents each year and you play them or some kind of tournament. We have wanted something like this, and it just seems to make too much sense. We're getting baby steps towards that, I guess. It's just an exhibition, but they're all going to be on there. They're going to be playing each other, so a step in the right direction. I'm excited for this, even though it's just an exhibition, because it's something we've wanted for so long.
Yeah, you hope that it's an entry point to something more. And, you know, Reimer, you look at this, and it's got to be really good for the state of basketball in Ohio for them all to get together. And you look back in the past, and I think the argument against it, you know, from the Ohio State perspective would be, you know, they have too much to lose. You know, they are the flagship institution, and ostensibly that means that Dayton and Xavier and Cincinnati, for as successful as they've been on the hardwood, that's a step down. And would that make you look worse in the eyes of everyone else if you lose some of those games? And Jake Diebler said that it doesn't really make sense to him. And I hope that means that they can all embrace that moving forward to play actual regular season games. And, my dream, I think your dream, get together for a weekend, set up that bracket, have the winners play, get 2 games out of that, have the losers play, get a championship trophy, whatever. Maybe this is the entry point and dipping the toe in the water for that. I hope so, because I think that would be really, really cool, and it would help everyone's schedules as well.
Absolutely. I've always felt that the basketball in the state of Ohio is very underrated compared to a lot of other states, and how it gets, like, other states get propped up more than what the state of Ohio does. And I feel like the talent in Ohio is really good. Just individual players, prospects, like Darren Peterson's from Ohio. I know, like, he was playing high school at prep schools and stuff like that, ended up going to Kansas. But, like, if you think about all the past players that have come through Ohio State, like Jared Solinger from Ohio, Aaron Kraft's from Ohio. You got John Mobley Jr. on the team now who's from Ohio. So, like, there's a lot of great talent in this state, and, like, Xavier's been really good as of late. Cincinnati's up and coming a little bit. Miami of Ohio just went undefeated last year for the most part. Akron's always been really good. So, like, the basketball in the state of Ohio is, to me, it's just been very underrated and is better than what people think. And getting an event like this is awesome. I've always viewed it as like the Crossroads Classic that Indiana did with Purdue, Indiana, Notre Dame, and Butler, and how those 4 would always get together traditionally. And unfortunately, that's come to an end. They still kind of do a little thing to where, like, Purdue or Indiana is playing some other high major school on a neutral floor. But still, like, that was easily a possibility to get at least the big 4 together. You can always find a way to work around matchups and whatnot to where it fits everyone's scheduling. But I feel like it's still a great step in the right direction to do that.
What did you guys think of when they said that it was going to be played outdoors at the Lindner Family Tennis Center? Because at first I was like, I don't know about this, but then as a big hockey guy, I know how much the outdoor games have gone over and how much the players love that. And especially in an exhibition, I'm like, well, in an exhibition, okay. I do love, though, that the backup plan for weather is UD Arena, because I love UD Arena, I think that's the perfect spot for this.
Great host.
But as I thought about it more, I'm okay with it.
Well, the first thing I thought about was the failed Battleship game for Ohio State. And I know that they've actually executed those and pulled them off elsewhere. Michigan State's done that a couple times. But Ohio State, was 14, 15 years ago, tried to get that done, and there was too much condensation on the ship, and it was unsafe, and they had to call it off even after going through some warm-ups. And, some of the guys on the beat were talking about that yesterday morning. We were in the gym, and Jake Diebler was making the announcement about the game, and they brought that back up. It's like they had the players out there trying to towel off the deck so they could go play, while Deshaun Thomas just kept on shooting. Which is very fitting.
That man never stopped.
Right.
Never stopped. But so that was the first thing I thought of, is like there really was no contingency plan, which makes you wonder how you're making these teams fly out there. You're going to put them on a battleship. You don't even consider what happens if it rains. You don't have a nearby gym that you can pop into, because it's not like there were a ton of tickets sold to go out there onto a battleship. That was the first thing I thought of. But some of that risk is mitigated by they actually do have a plan B, and it is not going to be floating on water, and it's an exhibition, so it's not going to impact anybody's schedule. I wish, because it's creative, it's outside the box. I wish they'd gone even further, Baker, with it, like maybe play a half against all 3 teams, or whatever, a quarter against them all, and then match off with a win. If you're going to be trying to look for novel ideas for how you want to execute this, go even further. Maybe they will down the road, and they just had to have 1 year, one starting point. But like, make it even more unique, especially if it's not something that people are going to be able to watch on television or stream. Just try and make it really appealing that people want to buy tickets. Not that I'm saying, not that they wouldn't want to in this case anyway, but shake it up even more.
You said not having this thing float on water. I mean, we could even get more unique and have this thing float on a barge in the Ohio River.
Well, that's another idea. There are no bad ideas.
No.
I think that's what Jake Diebler was also talking about on Thursday morning. It's like this idea came out there. He took it to Ross Bjork. Can we make this happen? Yeah, they can make this happen. And I think give credit to Jake Diebler, I think, for wanting his program to take some of these challenges on. Not just, this is an exhibition. That's not a challenge. But, given some of the ramifications or risk, if you want, of playing and falling short maybe against, if that happens, against these other programs, not being scared to do that, but also really ramping up the non-conference schedule. There have been a ton of years, there's been nothing of consequence on that Ohio State non-conference basketball schedule. Maybe one game, maybe two games. Maybe they'll play in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, or they'll have the 2K Sports. Yeah, whatever. I don't know who the sponsor of it is now, but that series you have North Carolina and Kansas and everybody.
Oh, the CBS Sports Classic.
So they've had those, and then nothing else that would get anyone's attention in November and December. And that's often a losing battle anyway against Ohio State football and the behemoth that it is. But the trade-off as well has been, are you fully ready and prepared for the gauntlet that's going to be the Big Ten schedule? And I think that Jake Diebler has turned that battleship in a different direction, and he's got Ross Bjork's thumbs up and green light to go do that stuff, and they're making things happen for that program. And I think maybe we can ask him about it. I did, Berman and I had an interview with Jake Diebler a couple of weeks ago. We spent half an hour up in his office, and it's like, I think that the level of financial investment has gone up as well for Jake Diebler from Ross Bjork, and maybe that's proof of concept that he knows what he's doing. They got back in the tournament. Let's push this thing a little bit further.
I do love the enhanced non-conference schedule that they're going after. And I believe, Reimer, you said yesterday, Jake said something about maybe another big team that they're going to be having an exhibition against this year, playing these games with Dayton, Cincinnati, Xavier. And you mentioned it. In the past, it's always been like, well, what does Ohio State have? They have everything to lose in this. You can't be scared of losing. And I think that trickles down. That permeates the program. That thought when you players hear that, well, what do you have to gain? Only everything to lose. I think that trickles down. I don't think you would ever see the football team like, nah, we're not going to go to Texas. We don't want to play Alabama. We've seen them try to schedule those games. Now, you're not going to schedule every game in football against those kind of schools.
But it would be like, Baker, if they refused to play the MAC schools because they had only something to lose.
Yeah, and you just don't have that thought in the football program, and I think that thought has kind of permeated this basketball program a little bit. You see it all the time in high schools. Schools that will schedule people and go play people are usually the ones that get better and end up being programs that are there in the end. I don't think Duke's ever scared to schedule somebody. I don't think Carolina is.
That's a good example,
so
right?
It's nice.
They were under Coach K, that's for sure. They were very similar to what it was, just scheduling like the Champions Classic, or they'd have the ACC Big Ten Challenge. But no, John Shire's taking a step because their non-conference is crazy. But I feel like
you're suggesting that Coach K was scheduling cupcakes?
Oh, it was always weak sauce.
Oh, my God.
It was always weak sauce.
Oh, my God.
But I feel like with Ohio State, we're starting to see that change a little bit of wanting to go play teams. Because, they're going to UConn this year, who's been to 3 of the last 4 national championships, won 2 of them. They're playing Vanderbilt, who's going to be a really good team here in the shot. They play Kansas in the CBS Sports Classic, a return game to Notre Dame, BYU to start the year. So they're taking that step of showing that they're not afraid to go any place, anywhere to play somebody, and who knows, maybe they can pick off some of those games this year.
I like it, and it's this CareSource Invitational, I believe, is just another step in the right direction for this Ohio State basketball team. It's kind of hard to believe, but we're less than a month away from Ohio State football training camp getting underway. We'll see what the biggest things Austin are thinking about with the football team a month away, coming up next on The Fan.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Baths R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Baths R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, loans and no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter at Germain Toyota of Columbus. It's all about you, your drive, your style, and your budget. Stop in and see Marcello. He'll get you rolling. Germain Toyota of Columbus on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or check them out online at germaintoyota.net.
Delaware County Veterans Services is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Give Delaware County Veterans Services a call, 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment.
Common Man and Timmy here for our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Timmy, that new hotel is open, and it's amazing.
It really is. Also, we have red, white, and win drawings on Saturdays in July. You can step into the flying cash machine for a chance to win up to $2,000 in pen cash.
And the best part, all-you-can-eat crab legs are back. Be here on Tuesdays in July and August from 4 to 10 for Canadian snow crab legs with butter, corn on the cob, and Hawaiian rolls.
Yeah, Hawaiian rolls. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? Sup with you?
Sponsored by Apex Pros. The pros who knows.
And what's up today? Ohio State football training camp, less than a month away. Ryan Baker, Austin Ward, Jacob Reimer with you today. In Austin, you are on the Buckeye Show with Beam, a minimum of 3 times a week. Sometimes
occasionally,
more.
yeah.
And one of the things Beam likes to do with you at the beginning of the show is he'll be like, Austin, what's burning on your brain with the Buckeyes today? So I figured today in a What's Up, let's kind of do the same thing.
All
And right now, a little less than a month away from training camp, what is burning on your brain with this Ohio State football team?
Yeah, my brain is always burning about the Buckeyes. It never stops. 365 days a year. That's why we had to find an outlet to continue that conversation.
Especially for you being a hoop head.
100%. That's why I popped into the gym yesterday with Jake Diebler and co. Berm and I were talking about that on the Austin and Berm show. I mean, we talk about it every day, all day. But, what are the things, who are the players that we haven't really talked about enough, Baker? Because I think as much as we break down the stars and the position battles that are going to be up for grabs, which there aren't a ton of those on the Ohio State roster, which makes for an interesting dynamic heading into training camp. We talk about Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sayin and, what's going to happen on the offensive line all the time. But there are always key contributors or key backups or unexpected position battles or shared workloads at positions that you weren't anticipating that emerged throughout August or even into September. And we're trying to spitball, who of those guys could possibly be. It's not like, someone can sign up to be on the roster today and it'll come out of left field. We have a pretty good idea who those people are, but who hasn't really got the spotlight. So I've been trying to think about those this week. They've been burning in my brain. Who do we need to maybe focus on that is not, really front of mind? Maybe for the Ohio State fan base, or because we haven't talked about them enough on the radio or on the podcast. And so I've been throwing out some of those names and some people that could emerge. I think that really, starts with the defense, because there are only 3 starters if you count Peyton Pierce, which I know James Laurinaitis does, but you have Kenyatta Jackson and Jalen McClain and Peyton Pierce, and then a bunch of other, uncertain guys trying to take a big step forward and help. So it's easier to look at that side of the football and stir that pot around and find what's going to come out of there. But we are inside a month away from that, and I really can't wait.
So, and you mentioned some of those guys, especially on the defensive end. Who are a couple guys that you do believe we're not talking about now, but we will once foot meets ball coming up here at September 5th?
Yeah, I think the spot opposite Kenyatta Jackson at defensive end, because Caden Curry was so productive, just, statistically, in terms of energy, the heart and soul glue guy, leadership, everything. That's going to be challenging to replace. In terms of the raw numbers, that's really up to Kenyatta Jackson to do. He needs to be the face of the Rushmen, maybe the entire face of the Silver Bullets. If you have to, which you do, you have to win in the trenches to win a national championship, then, he's going to have to be, one of those true anchors for Ohio State. And he has taken steps forward. There's no question, but he's going to need a complement to that, just like he was to Caden Curry a year ago. So there's a mix of guys. I think Bo Atkinson had a really good spring. There are certainly people who look at last year and his transition from North Carolina did not go as smoothly as maybe people wanted. I think there were flashes, but he, by his own admission, I've talked to Bo Atkinson about this, that he needed to be more fluid. He needed a little bit more mobility. He played a little bit stiff a year ago. He's been working on that. I thought he looked fantastic in spring. It very much appears like he's had a good summer of workouts there with Mickey Marotti and Anthony Schlegel in there in the Woody. But it's not just him that you look at. You're talking about maybe a second-year surge for Epi Satanale or Zion Grady. You brought in Quay Rousseau from Alabama to play on the edge, and maybe you're talking also about Christian Allegro doing some stand-up, edge rushing that Arvell Reese did a year ago. No one's going to be Arvell Reese. You need somebody who can try and find some of that same productivity that Caden Curry brought. That's not easy. But Ohio State isn't short of options. I think what's interesting about that position is that you can find something that you like about all 4 or 5 of those guys, and maybe they don't all have the exact same profile athletically, or you wouldn't ask them to do the same things on every single snap. Maybe Bo Atkinson just is best at setting the edge and being a run stopper, which is fine. Ohio State needs that. And JT Tuimoloau was really great at that, more than anything else that he did on the field. I'm not suggesting that Bo Atkinson is going to be a second-round pick like JT was, but that's certainly possible for him to take on that same level of responsibility. But Matt Patricia and Larry Johnson, if you give them 4 or 5 players, I think there's a willingness to rotate and find a role that suits what all of them do best. And how that plays out, especially going into September 12th in that environment on the road against Texas and Arch Manning, and put pressure on him and moving that line of scrimmage, I mean, it's going to be one of the most interesting parts of training camp.
There's 2 guys that transferred in that I don't know if they're going to be starters on this defensive side of the football, but I think they're going to be key contributors to this team, and they're guys that I think Ohio State fans are going to fall in love with. One of them is Dominic Kelly, the cornerback from Georgia.
Yeah.
I think Devin Sanchez is in for a huge year. I love Jermaine Matthews, but Dominic Kelly is a talented kid, got on the field a little bit for Georgia. I think he's going to be able to work in as that third cornerback, and we've seen Jermaine Matthews kind of do that the past couple of years. Devin Sanchez last year, and that third cornerback really got a lot of time. The other one is John Walker, who transferred in as a defensive tackle from UCF. He's a guy that Ohio State recruited out of high school and really wanted. He's a strong guy in the middle of that defensive line, and he's pretty quick from some of the videos and highlights I've watched of him. Now, I don't know if he's going to start over Edrix Houston or James Smith, but we know how Larry Johnson loves to rotate defensive linemen. I think both of those guys are going to be guys Buckeye fans are impressed with.
Well, on the second point there, Baker, think about what we were discussing all of last offseason. If you were to flash back to July 10th, 2025, all right, well, you have K-Mac back and you have Edric Houston on the rise, but boy, is there enough depth at defensive tackle. Now, fortunately for Ohio State, Tywone Malone took a step forward. They really needed that because Edric Houston on day one of training camp suffered that injury, was never really back to full strength throughout that entire year. By the end and by November, he was starting to push again and show that potential that we were also talking about and banking on for Ohio State all last summer. But there were really questions about that depth at defensive tackle and what would happen if they suffered an injury or if, they played 16 games. And you saw that wear and tear. Caden McDonald had that ankle taped quite heavily for the last 2 months of the season. Will Smith Jr. picked up a lower body injury. Edric Houston played all year with, bumps and bruises, both, on the upper body and lower body. Tywone Malone, he made himself into a really serviceable player. But this year, you look at the situation, and I talked about the defensive ends first and wondering who's going to take the next step. You don't really have to have that same conversation at tackle this year, which is a tribute to Larry Johnson and Matt Patricia and Ryan Day and Mark Pantoni, because going out and getting James Smith and John Walker to help replace some of that success that K-Mac had on the interior, watching what Edric Houston is doing to transform his body, Will Smith Jr. taking another step forward. There's another handful of younger guys that are pushing into that mix. But John Walker has probably not got enough attention. I agree with you. And the Dominic Kelly piece of this, there's a very real scenario where he's not the third corner. He becomes the second corner, and Jermaine Matthews could play in the nickel. And he was really dynamic in that spot. I'm thinking about the Illinois game, and when Lorenzo Styles was out at times dealing with his shoulder injury, I like what Jermaine does there, and no one will ever confuse him for someone afraid of contact. He will go in there and make his presence felt. He'll help against the run. We know that he can cover if that happens. And I'm not saying that that's the leading outcome, but it's definitely in the conversation set because of Dominic Kelly and what he can do. And then it becomes a matter of, all right, well, what do you give up here at corner compared to there? That was the debate a year ago with, could you make Jermaine the full-time guy? Well, that became a comparison between Lorenzo Styles and Devin Sanchez at that time. And now you get to mix and match because you brought in Earl Little, Terry Moore to play in the secondary and at safety. Can Jermaine be a factor in there? Does he need to be? That's all stuff that we get to really dive into in a month.
I love Jermaine Matthews, and he's a guy that I think he's just a football player. You could probably put him anywhere, and he would hold his own. One thing we know with Ohio State, the wide receiver room is in good hands whenever you have Jeremiah Smith leading it. We started talking about our Ohio State wide receiver Mount Rushmores yesterday. I want to get both of your guys' thoughts on that. And is it the hardest Mount Rushmore of any Ohio State position to get to? We'll talk about that next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. Tri-State Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
$604 million. That's the Ohio Lottery's current Mega Millions jackpot. $604 million. That's 604 million more reasons to play. Buy your Mega Millions tickets today. If scratching is more your style, check out the new $50 Millionaire Blowout Scratch-Off for a shot at $1 million instantly. Or pick up any Ohio Lottery Scratch-Off to put a little play in your day. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread yard work,
in 90-degree weather.
Wow, it is a scorcher out there today.
With a swarm of hungry mosquitoes buzzing around. Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM.
There's something that has always made small towns and great communities strong. It's not the buildings themselves, but the people and who show up for them. The businesses that don't disappear when the work is done. The ones that sponsor the local festivals, cheer from the sidelines, lend a hand when needed, and take pride in calling this place home. For more than 30 years, that's exactly who Newman Roofing has been. Yes, they install roofs, siding, and gutters, but what homeowners remember is how they're treated. The straight answers, the respect for your home, job sites left cleaner than they found them, and craftsmanship that's built to last. Because when you live where you work, every customer is also a neighbor. That's why Newman Roofing has spent decades investing in this community, earning trust one family at a time. Newman Roofing, treating you like family and our community like home. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Life is full of uncertainties. You can't control the economy, the prices at the pump, or the grocery store, and you certainly cannot control the weather. But the one thing you can control is your home's efficiency and comfort. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us help you take back control of your home by insulating your walls with our premium foam. You give us a call today, we'll come out, we'll insulate your walls, and we'll throw in your attic for free. So give us a call today, 529-2440 or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Have you ever met a man who wins money betting on tennis? Enter Scotty Vegas. Join Scotty and Dave Biddle for On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
Sunday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and $2 tall boys. All day, every day.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Friday edition of the program. No Beau, no Reese today. I'm Ryan Baker. I'm here. Austin Ward, Jacob Reimer joining us as well. We had a fun time yesterday. We were talking about Jeremiah Smith, and
he's pretty good.
The tweet where somebody said that he was playing for free this year, no NIL, and he's like, yeah, okay. And they had the eyeballs, and we all know Jeremiah Smith is getting compensated well to play at Ohio State, as he should be. He is the kind of consensus best college football player in the country.
Somebody
right now.
seriously suggested that he was playing for free?
Somebody put that out there in the Twitter sphere, and
people will say anything, won't they?
You know, checks and balances out there. So we got to do the checks and balances ourselves, I guess. But it got us into a conversation about the Ohio State wide receiver room all time and the Mount Rushmore of Ohio State wide receivers. And is it the hardest position group at Ohio State to do? And when I started thinking about it, I immediately went to 3 right away.
Yeah.
On my wide receiver Mount Rushmore. I had Chris Carter, I had Marvin Harrison Jr., and I have Jeremiah Smith on mine already because I think he's going to, barring some kind of crazy injury this year, he's going to set the Ohio State receiving records in the major 3, receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns, and I think he's just the best to do it. I don't know if we've ever had a player in the Ohio State wide receiver room where we're like, that's the best player in the country. And he's been that just about since he stepped on campus.
Yep.
So I think those 3 for me were set in stone. And then there was so many ways you could go with the other ones. I think I narrowed my choices down to Joey Galloway, David Boston, and for me, Chris Olave.
Ooh.
And I just love Chris Olave because he made an impact from his freshman year, whether that be special teams or blocking. And I just think, to me, Chris Olave is one of my favorite Buckeyes of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And with my heart, I probably would have put him on there. I ended up going David Boston because I think his 2 years were just that impressive for him that he had, where he was really strong and the number one guy at Ohio State. But I don't know if you could go wrong with any of those. And then that's also snubbing Terry Glenn and Michael Jenkins and Santonio Holmes.
Yeah, it's ignoring the 2000s and another run of really impressive guys, and Ted Ginn and Gonzo. And I mean, it's incredible what Ohio State has done at wide receiver, especially for a program that has historically not been known for its ability to pass or rack up like crazy aerial attacks and stats. Now, Urban Meyer and Ryan Day have certainly changed that, but even during the Tressel era, you saw NFL talent. I think if you had to just pick the 4 best, it's almost impossible, Baker. And I love these Mount Rushmore arguments. And I stole this from Sam Roberts recently, because he's like, well, you have to be more specific. Like, if you're going to do Mount Rushmore is not supposed to represent the 4 best presidents. Like, that's not what it was built for. So George Washington is he represents the birth of the United States. Thomas Jefferson represents growth. Theodore Roosevelt is development, and Abraham Lincoln was preservation. So that's how you can get to a Mount Rushmore where the birth, then we'd have someone like Chris Carter. All right, we can put him on there. The growth of the position, that's where, I don't know, do we want to be in David Boston territory? Do we need to be in Ted Ginn territory? Who's the bridge there?
To me, the growth, then, if you're doing it that way, to me, the growth is Joey Galloway.
Okay, there we go. That
Joey Galloway kind of set the scene for Terry Glenn and David Boston. And
I think that makes sense. I can agree with that. Development, now we're wide open to just about whatever.
I mean, maybe the development part has to be Brian Hartline for what he did as a receiver and in the receiver room as a coach.
Interesting. Okay.
I was going to throw out Emeka for that, just because he's the all-time leader in receiver. I know he's not like the biggest.
It won't be for long.
Yes, this is true. But he's not like the biggest name, but like he's gone through it all and is at the top of the receiving ranks.
And it's crazy that you mention Emeka, because Emeka's great. I think Emeka is a guy you could have put anywhere on the football field and he would just be a football player. He was never the best player in his own room.
This is true.
He's the one that held it all together.
For true development, you could say Marv, since he was 160th in the class.
He's a good example of that. I mean, and so is Terry McLaurin, and so is Chris Olave.
Yes.
Neither one of them were the super high-profile recruits. They weren't in that 5-star conversation. And so, honestly, some of these guys that have come in, with more to prove, and then have taken on the Ohio State development, and Marv fits there. They have surpassed what some of the 5-stars, and we'll see what Brandon Ennis does this year, but Julian Fleming before that, there have been 4 and 5 stars that haven't maxed out the way others have in the room. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But then there's the exception to all of those rules, which is Jeremiah. And in terms of preservation or the future, you have to have room for him. I think he's already put a stamp on there with the national championship. The lack of a Biletnikoff is frankly
staggering,
offensive, and stunning, and ridiculous and stupid. I think that's a fun way of looking at it. Because growing up, I certainly just thought, well, you pick 4 and you put them on the mountain. When you try and break it down and get more creative, I think when you fit them in that box, and you could still make any argument you want for who started what or who's preserved it or development. But now we're looking at a pretty cool one. I think that Hartline one for development is pretty interesting, especially on field, and then the run that he had as a coach there and leading that unit. It's a different way of thinking about it, where instead of just listing the 4 best, because I don't know that any of us could ever agree on that.
And I don't know if there's, as you mentioned, I don't know if there's right or wrong answers in all of it. Real quick, you talk about the difficulty of that. Is the wide receiver position the hardest one to do for Ohio State position groups, because I think running back can be difficult because you got to find your last one, and there's so many different ones, but I think the first three, to me, are kind of set in stone. Offensive line, there's all kinds of crazy ones in that. Everybody would have Orlando Pace on theirs.
Yeah.
Quarterback, I don't think would be but linebacker would be ridiculously tough to do.
I don't know how you even begin at linebacker. Corner is tough.
There's not a wrong answer for that one either.
No.
I think, and that's the greatness of Ohio State as a program. Like every single one of those positions. And we can say, oh, well, it's obvious at the top at the offensive line. You're going to start with Big O. You still have, 20 legitimate options beyond that. And when you think about the sustained period of success, and we were talking about this on the Buckeye Show on Thursday night, decade by decade, maybe you don't pick Ohio State as the champion of the decade, but they're probably number 2 in almost all of them, or 3. That long period, like unprecedented, really, and unrivaled, to borrow a phrase from James Franklin. When you look at their period of success and that consistency, it's because they've had great players at every position across every decade. And there just are not many programs that can say that, and that would have legitimate arguments about their top 4 players across the roster in every unit. And that's real. It's lots of programs have great history. They're not quite usually as stocked with it as the Buckeyes are.
More court in sports. Exactly what I want.
No.
We'll talk about it next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Every summer morning is different. Luckily, Tim Hortons has a breakfast wrap for every morning. Kick off your summer with the bold new steak and egg wrap. Start your morning fresh with the egg white and Swiss wrap. Or keep it classic with the grilled breakfast wrap. No matter what summer mood you're in, you can always find a wrap at Tim Hortons. Your morning happy place.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry, you're the kind of guy who likes to save money while you do good for the planet, right?
Well, that's why I invented the biodegradable doggy poop bag, Aaron. I'm ecological and economical.
Well, usually the most economical thing you can do when your air conditioner dies is get it repaired. A quick fix can give you years more service.
That sounds economical.
But with older models, those repairs can get pretty expensive, and it'll still use way more energy than a newer model does.
Which is less ecological and less economical.
Get Eco.
ECO. You see where I'm going with this, Jerry?
I sure do. As hard as it is to toss out your old AC and replace the whole thing, it could actually be cheaper in the long run.
Get Eco.
ECO. Are you really a big deal in the poop bag industry, Jerry?
The doggos love me, Aaron.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Cool cars, cool people, good tires. Get ready for the biggest and best automotive happening of the year. The Good Guys 28th Summit Racing Nationals presented by Grundy Insurance. Over 6,000 classes. Shop the swap meet in Huge Fender Midway. See which ride takes home the crown of the Good Guys 2026 Forge Line Street Machine and Classic Instrument Street Rod of the Year. All this weekend at the newly renovated Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Details at good-guys.com.
With Bet365 early payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I grew up here, and after 25 years of telling this community's stories, this place still means so much to me. When I'm not in the newsroom, I'm usually out supporting the same people and causes I care deeply about. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still. It moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer, to speak up, or lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
With rates lower than the national average, plus special rates on balance transfers, a BMI Federal Credit Union Visa Platinum or Visa with Rewards credit card would be the perfect card for your wallet. Visit bmifcu.org/visa for more details and to apply today.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued, Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BAB to schedule your free estimate, or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
Delaware County Veterans Services is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Give Delaware County Veterans Services a call, 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment.
I take care of the kids, my dad, things at work, but I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression. Go to mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Jacob Reimer. The Guardians got back in the win column yesterday. Cleveland snapped their 4-game skid, beating the Twins 5-2, and the Guardians will stay on the road and visit the Marlins tonight at 7:10. As for Cincinnati, the Reds were shut out by the Phillies 1-0 last night. Up next for the Redlegs will be a home series with the Cubs starting tonight, also at 7:10. College basketball was announced yesterday that Ohio State will play Cincinnati in an exhibition game next year as part of the CareSource Invitational. The game will be played at the Lindner Family Tennis Center on October 7th. Xavier will play Dayton in the other leg of the doubleheader. And in golf, Scotty Scheffler had his 78 consecutive cuts made streak come to an end at the Scottish Open. After a 2-over-72 today, it put him outside of the cut line for the first time since 2022. This update is sponsored by Metal Supermarkets, your convenience store for metal. Visit Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com or 2180 Wilson Road for all your metal needs. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Second hour of this Friday edition of an All Friends edition of the program. Ryan Baker, Austin Ward, Jacob Reimer. You heard him on the update there in for you today. Coming up in about 27 minutes from now, our Friday chat with Tim May. It was a big weekend, I'm sure, for Tim May last week with the U.S. Senior Open in town and then the Indy race up at Mid-Ohio. So
it's like a weekend that was perfectly designed for Tim May.
Yeah, talk to Tim about how he consumed those local sporting events for this weekend. Also get in with him on some of this Buckeye talk. We're going to talk about Ryan Day in the next segment and how one ESPN writer had him as the 8th best football coach in the country. We'll get Tim's opinion on that. Also coming up about an hour and 12 minutes, well, an hour and 11 minutes from now, the head basketball coach of your Ohio State basketball team, Jake Diebler, will get his thoughts on the CareSource Invitational and how that all came about, and also how summer workouts are going for the Buckeyes. And then Aaron Portzline will join us at 11:30 this morning. When the NCAA said they were going to this 5-for-5 model. So you would have 5 years to complete 5 years of eligibility in your college athletics career. And I believe they said it would start from the day you entered or your 19th birthday, something like that. What were your initial thoughts on all of that?
I think that it's going to bring a lot of much needed clarity to the sport. When you think about, we're pushing the limit here with 7th and 8th year guys and 9th years and medical hardships and red shirts, and it became too difficult. It also opened up all these other legal challenges, and I thought eventually it's going to streamline that process. It's going to help. It's going to eliminate a lot of the gray areas, and it's great. I thought that was overdue. Now, there are certainly exceptions that you've seen in the past, and guys that go play baseball and come back, and Chris Winkies or whatever. And it's like, well, did that really hurt anybody to do that? And you could say no, but when you have, and Ohio State's done this now, bringing in Jacoby Jackson this year, 7th year guy, Hunter Welsing, really veteran. They have not really leaned on that the way other programs have. But when you're talking about 25 and 26-year-old men playing against 18-year-olds, it's not really what the spirit of college athletics was meant to be. So I was in favor of it. I think it makes a lot of sense. Eliminating the need for the red shirt, especially in this era of college athletics. I think totally on board with all of that. The problem is, and I anticipated this right away, is, how did you arbitrarily decide that you could do it right now? And I want my 5th year, and I should have been able to have that. And I'm hoping that we can get to the point where there are no more lawsuits challenging eligibility, but apparently we're not there yet, Baker.
So before we get into the lawsuit, and you just mentioned it a little bit, what's going on, there were two things that immediately I didn't love about it or understand. And the first one you kind of mentioned with like Chris Winkie, Brandon Whedon, guys that went and played baseball and then came back to play other sports. And I use the example of, and I can't remember his name right now, but there was a basketball player for Oakland University this year who was 28 years old.
Reimer.
And I believe it was his father was incarcerated, and his mother had health issues that kept her from working. So when he turned 18, he had to go into the workforce, and he had to provide for his family. Now with NIL, maybe that's different. Maybe you could go play college basketball, you could get NIL, and that's how you provide for your family.
Yep.
But he had to go provide for his family, and then things changed a little bit. I believe he got married, and things in that situation, she could help out with the family. And then he went back to Oakland University to play his basketball career. I think that's a great story. And I think that person, and I know it's a rare and extreme case, but then I think that person gets robbed of a chance to play college athletics, which I kind of hated that. I didn't love that. The other thing I didn't understand about this was, why do we have to go to 5 years of eligibility? Why isn't it just 5 years to play 4? And if you get your 4 done in 4 years, you graduate and move on. I don't know why we had to change you can play for 4 years. It's always been that way. Why not just keep it that way and say you've got 5 years regardless, whether it's an injury or some other kind of hardship or a military tour or whatever. You've got 5 years to complete 4 years of eligibility. Now the lawsuit that you mentioned which happened like the next day.
Yeah, immediately.
The first one was in Ohio. There's a couple now, I guess, in Georgia and Tennessee. But yesterday, Ohio Judge Christopher Wagner granted a temporary injunction to the 15 Division I college basketball players whose eligibility ran out after this past season. So this injunction allows them the opportunity to return for another season that they argue after arguing that the NCAA unfairly excluded them from its new age-based eligibility rule. If you would have just kept your 4 seasons of eligibility, you wouldn't have this going on right now.
That's a great point. And it's just, unfairly, at some point you have to start the rule, and someone is going to have the wrong end of it. They're going to have the short end of the stick. That's the way life works. No one is owed these opportunities to play college athletics or earn NIL. And so I understand, on an individual basis, whether that's you're talking about Oakland in that scenario, or these players who are like, I was so close. I feel like I should have had this opportunity. Like, how are you going to exclude me? Individually, you can feel sympathy for them. In the big picture, these handful of scenarios, you can't let them stand in the way of the progress, at least in my mind. And that may sound callous and cold. I certainly don't mean it that way for those specific players that are affected. And you can understand, like, you feel bad for them. And I don't think that you have to carve out more exceptions, because there will be someone every single year who has a story, a scenario, an opportunity that they feel like is being taken away from them. But for the sake of bringing actual enforceable rules and clear guidelines for what rosters look like, at some point you have to stop dealing with the exceptions and just say this is the way that it works. And most of these issues that are going to lawsuits and legislation and Congress and everything else, are going to be benefited by drawing a straight line and not having any of the exceptions and red shirts and waivers and appeals. That's what's opened up all this red tape and nonsense. This is one of the few examples where you look at the NCAA, and they've always been criticized for not having rules that people understand. This is the simplest one out there. Gambling in 5 years. Seems pretty obvious.
The other thing that this injunction will do is that these players that are represented here, this says that they are allowed to enter the transfer portal to try to find a place to play college basketball, even though the transfer portal has been closed since mid-April. So again, you're worried about one rule, now you're affecting another rule. There's just all kinds of craziness in there, and maybe this will get fixed one day. Maybe not. Maybe we're going to be talking about this stuff, you and I, Austin, in 20 years. That, when are they going to get college sports fixed? But this is an interesting one, and I think this could have been avoided if you just kept the eligibility at 4 years and said you have 5 years to play for.
Yeah, and in some ways, the NCAA has already made that more difficult on itself when it was saying, well, now you can play 4 games and still maintain your red shirt, or postseason games in the playoff don't count. If you've already made these concessions and you've been working towards this for a while, I don't know that you could go backwards. Now, to your point, Bake, if you said keep them the way they are and it's 4 years, but one of them can include, 25% of your season or any postseason games, fine. I don't know if anybody would have been that upset about it, but it's also making it needlessly complicated. Pulling off a red shirt, how it works, injury scenarios, all those things. This eliminates that, and you don't have to have that discussion. And you're right. You could have gone forward on that path, and it would have been just fine. I don't think either one is wrong necessarily in this case when it comes to 5 for 5 or 4 for 5 with the 4+, I guess, the way it is with 4 games in college football or whatever that math works out to, Reimer, for basketball.
I think it's 9 now. Yeah. Didn't they switch that before this rule came in?
Yeah, so it's all silly. It's all unnecessary. And I think streamlining it in this respect is actually like one of the smarter things that the NCAA has done in a long time. And I don't say that very often.
It's a step in the right direction for sure. Ryan Day, the 8th best coach in college football?
Come on.
We'll discuss next. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
This is Mary at the Department of Rejected Dreams. If you had a dream rejected, IKEA can make it possible.
Hi, I've been dreaming of having an epic college setup.
But your college budget is less than epic.
Way less.
Well, with IKEA, you can get everything you need for college, from bedding to storage and decor, all at a great price.
That's good economics.
Sounds like someone just found their major.
Visit IKEA in-store or at IKEA.us to get ready for college. IKEA, dream the possibilities.
There's this thing repair people do nowadays.
Mappo's Plumbing. Sure. We do have a dispatch fee. It's $1 zillion.
A dispatch fee, a trip charge, going out to your house bill.
Bippity Bing Bong Electrical. Our trip charge is a nice new car.
But not Apex Pros, the pros who knows. When you call Apex for repairs on your AC, plumbing, or electric, there's no dispatch fee.
Thank you for calling Apex Pros. Why would we? Kinda silly to ask for money before we do anything, isn't it?
We give you an upfront price only after we know what's really going on. We think it's the right thing to do, instead of...
Slappy's AC, electric, plumbing, dry cleaning, haberdashery, and chiropractic. Of course we charge to come out. $1 cajillion, 3 diamond rings, and 2 exotic pets.
Apex Pros. Never a dispatch fee. Examples of competitive rates may have been slightly exaggerated.
Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Fall is a season of change, and Hinderer Motor Company is turning over a new leaf with big savings. This is Justin Hinderer. Right now, any one of our participating locations is paying up to $3,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. That's right. Drive in your current vehicle and leave with one of ours today. Don't wait. The leaves are falling and so are the prices. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
I have a buddy who's going to be popping the question soon. He's planning everything out. He asked me, can you help me out with the ring? I said, of course I can. I've got a guy, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Now you talk, Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace. I'm your guy.
Go in, see my friends at Worthington Jewelers. Tell them I sent you, and you'll get the true VIP experience.
I'll treat them better than I treat you.
That's not hard. Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged. And tell them Common Man sent you.
Hey, friends, if you want to witness the world's biggest soccer tournament in person, well, look no further than Twin Peaks. Enter the Twin Peaks Go for Goal giveaway presented by Michelob Ultra and Casamigos, and you could be one of 5 grand prize winners who get the VIP treatment plus travel and lodging. For your chance to win unmatched views of the match, visit TwinPeaksSoccer.com to enter and choose your host city. Entries close June 14th, so don't wait. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views.
Students' foundational skills are important. When they begin their educational journey, it's important to get individualized attention so they don't fall behind. Here in Tiffin, our Education Association worked with district leadership to keep class size manageable with one-to-one attention and support to give educators time to develop individualized lessons for their kids with goals of improved behavior, increased attendance, increased academic performance, and better student experience, allowing them to better serve all students in the district. My name is Chris Mansour, and I'm a proud member of the Tiffin Education Association because strong unions make strong public schools for our students.
When you first saw her, she was out walking her dog. You didn't notice her at first, but when you finally did, it was too late. Because at that moment, you were speeding. She was out walking her dog and only had a second to let go of the leash. Your foot was on the gas, and her life was on the line. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Join our resident gambling degenerates, Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money. Sunday mornings at 9.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Still watching for a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms for the rest of the day. Better chance is later on. Could be a localized downpour from that. Partly to mostly cloudy skies and highs in the mid-80s. For overnight, a few showers or storms are possible, mainly early in the night, lows in the upper 60s. Then for Saturday, another chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly in the afternoon, highs in the mid-80s. For The Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Tim May coming up in about 12 minutes from now. We'll get his thoughts on this topic we are about to talk about right now. ESPN, they polled their writers, and they came up with their top 10 college football head coaches. Number 1, the old "What have you done for me lately?"
This is just...
Curt Cignetti of Indiana. He was number 1 on their list. Number 2 was Kirby Smart. And number 3 was Ryan Day. Now, I'm not too upset that Ryan Day is number 3. I think Curt Cignetti needs to do it another year or two to be at number 1 on this list. But what he's done at Indiana is nothing short of a miracle. Now, I know he's had help from some boosters, but he's identified the right players. He's identified the right quarterbacks. He brought the right players with him from James Madison. I can see an argument for Curt Cignetti. Kirby Smart has a couple national championships to his name. Georgia has stayed and continued to play at a high level under him. I can see an argument for Kirby Smart to be the top coach in college football. And so Ryan Day at 3, I don't think is terrible. He was 2 last year. He did get 1 first-place vote this year. The problem that I have here is with Bill Connelly. And I usually actually really like what Bill Connelly puts out.
He's very
ESPN.
reasoned. He has a lot of analytics backing up his arguments. He's not usually in the hot takery department.
But I think his ranking of Ryan Day this year is a hot take. He had Ryan Day 8th. Nobody else had Ryan Day lower than 4th. He had Coach Day at 8. And here's his why. Honestly, it's just really hard to evaluate the performance of a successful Ohio State head coach, as it has been the most consistently awesome program in the nation for decades. I may have dropped Day too far after last season. I just didn't think he stuck the landing at all in 2025. When it was time to help that offense shift into gear late and ramp up the tempo and the risk profile against elite opponents, Day just couldn't do it. I'm not an Ohio State fan, but I was yelling at the TV during the Miami college football playoff game because the Buckeyes just refused to pick up the pace in the second half when they were down multiple scores. They weren't up for the task late in the season, and it cost them. 8th is probably too low, but I guess it could be considered a challenge for 2026.
Pretty unnecessary one. If you're having to explain your ballot in that detail, and in it your argument is, well, I'm wrong, why don't you just fix it? Go ahead and move him up. If you're not convinced that it's the right spot and everyone is going to laugh at you, you are certainly entitled to not cast that vote at number 8. It's well within your rights. I know that deadline was probably approaching, and, I've worked there. You got to have this in to ESPN by this point, or the AP ballot. You got to file it by 2 a.m. Yeah, I know there's pressure. But if you're thinking about it and you realize that it's wrong, just go ahead and fix it in advance, and rather than publish this thing and then immediately apologize for what you did. Because basing that and dropping him, I'd love to know. I assume that he had Curt Cignetti up very high, Kirby Smart. Who else is ahead of Ryan Day? And are they being judged based on one half of performance in a college football playoff game? Because that's essentially what's happening right here. And I know that the postseason for Ohio State did not go the way anybody wanted. In the Woody, in Columbus, wearing scarlet and gray. Yeah, it was frustrating to watch the offense against both Indiana and Miami. There has also been some tendency, Bake, to minimize the fact that team went 12-0 in the regular season with a first-time starting quarterback that was reloading after losing another historic haul to the
8
NFL draft.
starters on defense.
Do you remember the conversation last offseason? Because people seem to be forgetting and thinking that the 12-0 regular season was just a product of that schedule wasn't challenging enough and anybody could have done it. There were so many new faces, including Julian saying that the discussion was, well, can they be ready to get back to the college football playoff? What will Ohio State look like by December and January? And the thinking was that they would have to suffer some losses and pick up some scars along the way. The fact that they didn't is a remarkable coaching job. Yes, there are things about the way Ohio State played in the postseason that maybe there were issues underneath the surface all along that needed to be addressed, whether that was, the tempo or I think primarily the red zone efficiency was the biggest weakness of that Ohio State team. And that's what came to fruition more than anything, because the season would have looked dramatically different. And the playoff bracket would have also looked different if Ohio State had turned 2 empty possessions against Indiana into just 2 field goals, let alone if they had been 2 touchdowns. If they had been able to preserve that bracket and they don't play Miami and anything else, like we can look back and I'm not trying to revise history. It happened. But imagine what it could have looked like if they won that game, that the defense did more than enough against the eventual national champions, and everything would have looked quite different if the red zone efficiency, if the short yardage success had been there for Ohio State, which it wasn't. But to think that was purely a matter of their tempo, I think is also wrong. And to minimize a 12-0 regular season by dropping Ryan Day several rungs, ultimately this poll doesn't matter. It's someone's opinion. But it's emblematic to me of, I think, people focusing on the game. They matter the most. I understand that, but disregarding everything else that happened last year, which was a very good coaching job. And you won't really convince me otherwise. I know that there are things that Ohio State had to do better. I just talked about them. But, what they did and the way they played in the Big House before the postseason, does that not count for something or anything? It should.
When you talk about minimizing the 12-0 regular season last year and beating Michigan in that final game, it's the ultimate moving of the goalpost, because I've said this all the time. Yeah, it's disappointing when you get there and it doesn't go your way. But at the beginning of the year, if you would have told Ohio State fans, this is the year you're going to have, and your two losses are going to be to the two teams playing for the national championship, as you mentioned, a first-time starting quarterback, weren't sure, but it ended up being a first-time starting running back, and you replaced 8 starters on the defense, 15 draft picks off of your team, you would have been ecstatic. But when you get there, it hurts and the goalposts move a little bit. If somebody wants to have the conversation with me that maybe Ryan Day isn't the best in-game coach, I will sit down and have that conversation with you. And I think there are things to be said about that. But we are living in a time when being the head coach of a college football program, a major college football program, is so much more than what happens on game day during the game. And Ryan Day has crushed every other part of that coaching job, whether it be finding the right players and bringing them in to recruit, the guys that aren't just about money, whether that be finding head coaches because you're getting good assistant coaches because you're getting good assistants and they move on to other places. Matt Patricia, Chip Kelly, now Arthur Smith, Brian Hartline is down in South Florida now as their head coach. Being the CEO of the program is just as important now as what you do on the field on Saturday. And Ryan Day has crushed all of that. He also, outside of one game against Michigan in the national championship year, I don't think there's a game that they've lost that you're like, how in the world is this? They've won every game they were supposed to win.
Yeah, with that one exception. And that's a big one, although they did rattle off 4 in a row after that were also pretty significant. So I think, but also if you're zooming out and you're taking this national perspective, everyone, listening to Bishop and Friends or the Buckeye Show is aware of the scenario that played out in the postseason for Ohio State. But if you're holding Indiana and Miami personally against Ryan Day and disregarding not just the regular season, but also what happened with the coaching staff in the buildup, the 5 days before the Indiana game with Brian Hartline taking the USF job and having to deal with maintaining that class and all the other complications. Yeah, that detail might not matter to somebody making this list or voting Ryan Day number 8. And I'm not trying to make excuses for it either, but what happened. And holding those games personally against Ryan Day just makes no sense to me at all. And thinking that they could magically snap the fingers and change the tempo or, he takes the play calling and it's all going to be different. That's not the way that season was designed. And he's trying to avoid that as the CEO, which, as you said, Bake, he's doing at the highest level of anybody in the country. And then, oh, by the way, your offensive coordinator, I don't know if he's going to be able to put the game plan in place for Indiana or what can we do with the deck chairs here to go into the Cotton Bowl. It wasn't the same team. It wasn't the same setup. And, you can say that still ultimately falls on Ryan Day's shoulders. And I wouldn't say that that's wrong, but there's more context here to those losses than I think the national perspective is willing to provide.
We'll get Tim May's thoughts on this in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
$604 million. That's the Ohio Lottery's current Mega Millions jackpot. $604 million. That's 604 million more reasons to play. Buy your Mega Millions tickets today. If scratching is more your style, check out the new $50 Millionaire Blowout Scratch-Off for a shot at $1 million instantly. Or pick up any Ohio Lottery Scratch-Off to put a little play in your day. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Thank you for calling 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We make room for possibilities.
We've loaded the moving van and we're leaving a ton of stuff at our old address. Can you make it disappear?
All you have to do is point.
Can you come right now?
We're on our way.
We make space for hope.
We make space for dreams.
We make space for what matters.
We are 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Let us make room for your possibilities.
We can make your house happier.
And your future brighter.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
The big one returns to Ohio. It's the Good Guys 28th Summit Racing Nationals presented by Grundy Insurance. See over 6,000 of the nation's baddest hot rods, muscle cars, and classic trucks on display. And don't miss Good Guys Autocross racing action, a tire-smoking burnout competition, a pro street takeover, an earth-shaking Nitro Thunderfest. Meet the top builders and so much more. Happening all this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
All the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My AC stopped working. Your competition says it's fried. When I saw their cost to replace it, I could have just died.
We can give a second opinion, give you options and advice. We'll strive to earn your trust and make you a client for life.
Get a free second opinion. Replace or repair.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Beau knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Brian Baker, Austin Ward, Jacob Reimer with you on this Friday edition of the program. We head out now to the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline for our Friday chat with the one and only Tim May. Tim, last weekend was a heck of a sporting weekend in Central Ohio. You had the U.S. Senior Open over at Scioto Country Club. You had the IndyCar race up at Mid-Ohio. I know you love both golf and Indy racing. How did you consume both of those?
Like somebody living in maybe Montana or Wyoming. bring one of your hosts into the play there.
Thank you.
I watched them both on television. I did go up to Mid-Ohio. I did go up to Mid-Ohio though on Thursday and did the interview with Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenquist, who are two prominent drivers, one of which just won the Indy 500 in Rosenquist, and six-time IndyCar season champion Scott Dixon, who were leaving their respective teams, and now they've both been hired formally by McLaren for starting next year. That was major news in the middle of this IndyCar season, the middle of what they call the silly season. So there was a lot going on there. But and you feel bad for the Meyer-Shank team to a certain extent. They helped Felix Rosenquist get into victory on the victory platform of the Indy 500, and now he's gone. That's tough, but life moves on at a wicked pace when you're in IndyCar racing.
I'm pretty sure somebody on this program might have been Tim May predicted Felix Rosenquist at the Indy 500, but I digress.
But that's like naming Secretariat to win the Belmont. I always pick, when push comes to shove, I pick the fastest horse in the paddock, right? And that's what Felix Rosenquist was. It was lucky he got to show that at the very end of the race.
So you're not counting that as the upset of Mike Tyson. This isn't your most famous prediction.
Also, you know what makes me mad about that? I told you Jeremy Schaap came to town. They did that 42-1 thing. They interviewed me for it was like I was being interrogated there at the wherever that hotel is at the Levesque Lincoln Tower.
Yeah.
And then they acted like, they didn't mention the fact that I picked him to win, and I also had the caveat. Well, if Tyson throws an uppercut, the thing could, big time uppercut, the thing could could end at any moment. But the point was, I picked him to win because I was over there. Buster was in the greatest shape of his life, and Mike Tyson was not, right? And Mike Tyson, I try to remind people, was just a human being who could hit you really hard, but he was a human being. And so I took a flyer mainly because of what I was seeing, because Buster, in great shape, was about as good as you could get at that era, and he just never was in the greatest shape of his life, but he was then.
Tim, before you came on, we were talking ESPN did a poll with their writers on the top 10 college football head coaches right now in the game, and they had Ryan Day at number 3. But the more surprising thing was Bill Connelly had Ryan Day as his 8th ranked head coach in college football. What are your thoughts on that?
Please, somebody pay attention to what I'm saying. Somebody out there. Dude, I mean, did they put rationale, or did they just?
He apologized for it in the explanation, which is he's like, this may be too low. Well, if it's too low, move him up.
Well, yeah, it's your keystroke or your pen. Number one, number two. I mean, Austin, I think you agree with me on this. Has any coach, Kirby Smart, maybe, but you know what? Georgia, the last several years, has not had that edge to it like it had, right? When it won 2 in a row. I'm not sure we'll ever see 2 in a row again. I mean, that's nuts when you think about it in this age. But has any coach, and by coach, I mean him and his staff and the people he has around him, has anybody adapted to the change we've seen over the last 7 years better than Ryan Day and Mark Pantoni and company? And that's all orchestrated to make, the head coach look good. Let's put it that way as far as the annals of time. But no one has. And I just think that's just a scream for help. I mean, please, like I said, somebody read this. I'm thinking differently. But boy, who would you put in charge of running a modern? I'm talking about changes every day. So, but a modern major college football program, who would you hire to put in charge of that more than a Ryan Day or a Kirby Smart? I didn't see this ranking, number one, and I sure didn't see Bill Connelly's top 8. But who were just give me the top 3. Who were the universal top 3? So
the top 3, it was Curt Cignetti at 1, Kirby Smart at 2, Ryan Day at 3. Then they
I don't have any problem with that. That's pretty good, because Curt Cignetti, I'm telling you, I was just talking with a guy who's chronicling something from Ohio State's past, Dave Bennett, and Curt Cignetti, what he's done, he has built a house on no foundation. There was no foundation, right?
Yeah.
And you've got no one, I have never seen that in my lifetime, and I'm 72, so that eclipses you guys by several decades. But yeah, I don't have any problem with that top 3. That's pretty good. You could intersperse Kirby Smart and Ryan Day. We're talking about what have you done for me lately, right?
Yeah.
And Curt Cignetti, wow.
Tim, you are a 72-year-old with the energy of a 22-year-old. I've always admired that about you. When you've been doing this as long as you have, and we're within a couple weeks of Big Ten Media Days and the start of training camp, do you still feel that same energy to go back in another year and pop into Chicago and hang out at the Hilton that you did when you first started?
Yeah, I mean, I do, because you know what, my favorite thing, Austin, I mean, you know me, because I've always the greatest thing was when you were coming on with my podcast regularly back in the day when I went to a party. I guess we can still name them, right? Letterman Row.
You don't have to.
And On 3. Well, you ended up with On 3 again, but that's look out what's coming around the corner sometimes. But I digress. That's another conversation. But it was like, who's gonna shut up first? You know what I mean? When it comes to talking football,
right?
That's what we should have named our podcast. But no, I've always enjoyed asking questions and talking to people, but mainly I enjoy asking questions. And sometimes maybe it tees some people off. Sometimes it doesn't. But I've always enjoyed that aspect of my job more than any other part of it. Like I told you, when I came on board with you guys at Letterman Rough, I didn't have to write another story the rest of my life. I would not, because I was tired of that, And but I've always enjoyed the conversation about major college football in whatever form it takes. And so, yeah, I'm pretty fired up, because this is going to be about as interesting a year as you can get in the Big Ten, because you've got, four or five of the best teams in the country, and a team I think people are sleeping on in USC that slowly but surely I think they're coming around. And Ohio State plays every one of them, right?
Yeah.
Plus Texas. So, yeah, this is an interesting year. How long you want to do this, I don't know, because there's other things definitely I want to do. And there'll be one time when I'm not even there, because I'll be at a wedding for not my in-laws, but my wife's in-laws. So I'll be missing the Maryland game this year from a live standpoint. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I know. I know how much you like the Maryland coach, so I'm sure that was stunning to you.
You don't want to see Mike Loxley's last trip to the Horseshoe?
But dude, you said that about 6 years ago.
What should have been?
Boy, has he fooled you, Robin and Loxley. That's what I keep thinking of. But yeah, anyway, I didn't answer your question. But hey, the greatest thing, that first thing in '84, Lou Holtz had been named the head coach of Minnesota. Remember?
Yeah.
And
no, I don't remember.
Well, you don't remember. You were a little kid in Wyoming where everything is. I like to say everything's downhill from there.
Yeah.
But he gets up and gives this thing that he had this dream, and it was the Hyatt Regency in Wacker Drive there, and he had this dream. There was a big fountain in the middle of that lobby there, and his dream was that the day before he was supposed to speak there, he had this dream that night that the old time Big Ten commissioner anyway had told them they weren't going to play football this year. He had put a fish in that fountain, and whatever head coach caught that fish was going to be the Big Ten champion and go to the Rose Bowl. And so they all took their turns in order of how they finished the year before. And like he said, Earl Bruce threw a line out there, and the fish didn't take the bobber, and he just got upset and left. And Bo Schembechler shot an arrow at it and missed. And right on down the line until finally came down to me, Lou Holtz, University of Minnesota. So I kneeled down next to that fountain, and I reached in my back pocket, and I pulled out a teaspoon. And I dipped that teaspoon in the water and threw it over my shoulder. And I dipped that teaspoon in the water and threw it over my shoulder. And I was doing that, and this little old lady comes up, and she goes, "Lou Holtz, what do you think you're doing?" And without missing the beat, I stuck that teaspoon in the water and threw it over my shoulder again. I said, "Ma'am, I'm going to the Rose Bowl." So, yeah, I enjoyed those things. They don't really have that. Well, you know what I mean? There aren't any personalities there. Jim Harbaugh was an oddball.
Yeah.
He was a personality, but you don't really get that stuff anymore, except for Kurt Signetti. Google me. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
You can only get stories like that from Tim May, the Tim May Show with Clay Hall on FanStream Sports. Tim, thanks so much, as always, for joining us on a Friday.
Hey, you guys, y'all are halfway done, man. Bring it home. Bring it home. See ya.
Tim May joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do some Thing or Not a Thing next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Scotty Vegas here, and my new Bronco from Krieger Ford might go down as one of my best purchases of all time. I love it. The family loves it. I decided to get my wife's car some much-needed service. Krieger Ford conveniently picked up her car. I was prepared to spend a ton on repairs. Nope. They walked me through the problems, and it was fixed and brought back to our driveway in a day. Plus, saved me some money for some summertime parlays. The Krieger Ford experience is awesome. See for yourself at KriegerFord.com.
Iconic summer moments deserve an iconic drink. Reach for Mountain Dew, an American original. From its beginnings in the foothills of Tennessee to your biggest summer yet. The refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew is the perfect companion to your American summer adventures. Enjoy the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Tasting great since 48. Look for Mountain Dew in stores near you at mountaindew.com. That's mountaindew.com.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. You're running that air conditioner because it's hot out. If your windows are old and leaky, you're wasting money. Right now at Universal Windows Direct, you buy 4 windows, you get 4 free. Plus 48 months of 0% interest financing, same as cash. That's 4 full years with 0 interest. Give them a call for your free in-home estimate today. 614-502-5220. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. 4 windows, get 4 free. Plus 48 months, 0% interest. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
When my wife and I got married, after both graduating law school, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. But our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan. Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. All it takes is a little preparation. Get to the airport early, bring a carry-on bag that fits in the overhead, and have an acceptable ID. Not all state-issued IDs will cut it. Check out tsa.gov/ID and see which TSA acceptable IDs make the grade, like a real ID or passport.
Before you jet, do a little prep, and you're good to go. Check out tsa.gov/ID or the MyTSA app.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, loan to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BAB to schedule your free estimate or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
ESPN senior NFL insider Adam Schefter joins Rothman and Ice every Wednesday at 12:30, and he works blue.
Okay. The NFL Playbook with Adam Schefter is sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
Indeed it is. The Fan. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. What's the weather outside? Who cares? Bakers and shorts. This is Bishop and Friends.
And we are proudly sponsored by Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. Time for a little thing or not a thing.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Guys, I saw this story a couple days ago. It's from ESPN's Seth Wickersham, and he spent last year's NFL playoffs with the Broncos and head coach Sean Payton so he could get an in-depth look at the Broncos' postseason run. And he released this from his time with the team. He said, when Bill Belichick and the Patriots divorced back in 2024, Sean Payton considered presenting Broncos owner Greg Pinner a proposal for the ages. He was going to tell him to hire Belichick as the head coach until he reached 15 wins. That would be enough to break Don Shula's career wins record of 347. Payton would have temporarily stepped down to become the assistant head coach and run the offense. Then he would move back to head coach after Belichick became the all-time leader. Thing or not a thing?
I'm glad it wasn't a thing. I mean, I don't understand at this point the people trying to bend over backwards for Bill Belichick. That to me should not be a thing, Baker. I just, you look at what's happening with North Carolina, the distractions, the Jordan Hudson of it all. We've really been Reimer short on those stories, I think, this summer.
Oh, we absolutely have.
And we got to get back into that beat. That was the most fun part of 2025. That's just ridiculous. And why would the Broncos need to, I don't know, make any sort of sacrifice on Bill Belichick's behalf? Like, that's the fact that was a thing for Sean Payton has me questioning everything about him.
Well, I actually need this to become a thing than actually like still happen, because I'm ready for Bill Belichick to be out of Chapel Hill. I don't need this clown show anymore. It was fun. That first drive to start his tenure in Chapel Hill was very fun.
You were fired up.
Oh my goodness. You had Roy Williams, Michael Jordan, Lawrence Taylor all sharing the same box for that game. And then it was
They go back to any games after that?
It was done after that opening drive. The rest of the game didn't happen. But I need this to happen so Bill can get back to the NFL and everybody in Chapel Hill can come back to their senses and realize that, hey, we're a basketball school. We don't need to be a football school. We need to be competing at the top in basketball and giving all our money to now Michael Malone and build these awesome rosters to compete for championships.
I feel like this would be like Austin. You have some big toy drive.
Okay.
For, you do it at Rooster. You do it for your Rooster show. You have big toy drive. Going to take all the toys down to Nationwide Children's Hospital, and you're doing it on a Friday. And then I come to you on Monday and oh, man, I was going to bring a toy. Like, he didn't present this to his owner. He's just like, this kind of thought crossed my mind. The other thing that's not a thing to me on this would be like Brett Favre laying down for Michael Strahan to get the season sack lead.
What work did Bill Belichick do to build up those Broncos?
Yeah,
Nothing.
is this a real, he's head coach in name only almost at that point. So this whole thing is weird. I don't understand why it came out. I don't understand where, I almost thought about doing this. I just don't get it. I don't understand why we were hearing about it now. Mark Cuban says that the Dallas Mavericks majority owner and Governor Patrick Dumont froze him out of some business opportunities in a proposed move of the club out of downtown. Cuban, who's still a minority owner, says he had an agreement to continue running basketball operations, but Dumont gave former general manager Nico Harrison, how'd that work out, full control of the basketball side of things. In a recent court filing, Cuban said he was unaware of Harrison's plan to trade Luka Doncic until it was too late to object and call off the trade. The Mavericks recently moved on plans to purchase 104 acres north of Dallas to build an arena that's going to open in 2031. Cuban said his businesses were contractually entitled to participate in the move to the new site, which the filing describes as a unique investment opportunity. Thing or not a thing?
It seems like it's very much a thing. There is clearly ongoing litigation that's going to impact that Mavericks franchise or the livelihoods. No one wants to really hear the daily lives of the billionaires, but there's a team at stake, one with a pretty bright future. Us hoopheads know, Reimer. When you're building around Cooper Flag, there's a pretty encouraging outlook for that organization, but they're going to be, they're going to have this cloud hanging over them. And it's here. If Mark Cuban wanted to continue to run the day-to-day operations and be involved in everything the Mavs do, then he shouldn't have sold that part of the company. So that part you'd have to say would be not a thing. But in terms of for the Mavericks as a whole, I think it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, I think this is a big thing. It's still just very shady of how it all went down with just trading Luka in the middle of the night to the Lakers of all teams. And yeah, I mean, to that point exactly, Austin, if Mark Cuban doesn't sell that part of the team, then we're not even here. And Luka Doncic is still in Dallas, where it felt like there was no way in a world that he would have been traded there. It felt like he wanted to stay in Dallas for his entire career. And they got Anthony Davis in that trade, and now he's not even with the team anymore. So it's the craziest thing that there's been, and now like you're completely resetting after you just went to the finals a few years ago and had a generational type player that is now in one of the biggest markets in the country that's going to be their face of the franchise, because that's what you do when you have a young up-and-coming star. You keep that guy and build around him. Even if there is some weaknesses in his game, you try to make those strengths at some point. Like it's still a long process. He was young, like still work on that. I don't know. It's still just very weird to me, but now you got Cooper Flagg and Dusty Mays there, and Morris Johnson looked great in the summer league yesterday. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe he saw something, but he's gone now, so he can't do anything.
I don't think there's anything in sports that upsets me more than the Dallas Mavericks getting rewarded Cooper Flagg for the idiocy that Nico Harrison did with that franchise and getting rid of Luka.
I was almost surprised they didn't trade the pick when they got it.
It just drives me nuts that they got rewarded for that. And now, as you mentioned, they got Dusty May, and they're probably going to be fine. They've got Cooper to build around.
They've still got Kyrie there. They've got Klay Thompson.
It's very annoying to me, though. Very, very
undeserved.
Annoying. A lot of things happened in the sports world this week, which is kind of unusual for the second week of July, but we had a lot going on. What we learned next week, coming up next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Whoa, what's all this? These screens, the food?
All for the game, bro.
Dude, let us pitch in.
No need. I've got it all covered. With T-Mobile, I'm saving $1,000 bundling my wireless and internet.
No way. Really?
Yep, and the price of my plan won't change for 5 years.
Wow, I'm definitely switching to T-Mobile.
Goal!
Here's to score big with T-Mobile. Families save up to $1,000 a year when they bundle fast, easy to set up, all-in 5G home internet with 4 phone lines on Experience Beyond. And your plan price, guaranteed for 5 years. Stay connected con tu gente and catch every match with T-Mobile. Join now at T-Mobile.com. Price guarantee on talk, tax, and data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Savings based on third line free via monthly bill credits. Internet discount with $15 in monthly bill credits and auto-pay discount. Qualifying credit required. Credits may take up to 2 bill cycles and will stop if you cancel any lines or change plans.
Celebrate Star Spangled Savings with Logan Services. Right now, save up to $3,000 on a qualifying train system. It's hard to stop a train. Free same-day estimates, next day installation. Logan Services.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
It's time for sun and savings at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, get a new 2060 Elantra SE for $59 per month for a 2-year lease. Just $59 a month for the drive into summer sale. This month only. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit $39.95 down. Plus tax, title, first month's payment. 7,500 miles per year. Ends 8/3.
The rings, the moment, the forever. Make it unforgettable. Join us July 24th and 25th for Diamond Seller's Wedding Weekend. Enjoy preferred bridal pricing on wedding bands and engagement rings now up to 30% off. Visit Diamond Seller on Selma Road or at Easton Town Center.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread yard work, in 90-degree weather,
wow, it is a scorcher out there today.
With a swarm of hungry mosquitoes buzzing around, then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM.
You can give a little, change a lot. The Salvation Army is partnering with Atlas Butler and Jets Pizza to support local families. Visit a Red Kettle at participating Kroger and Walmart stores Thursday through Saturday throughout July. SalvationArmyCentralOhio.org for locations.
Making ends meet matters for Ohio families. Congressman Mike Carey is working to help you keep more of what you earn and get the benefits you deserve. Mike Carey supported the Social Security Fairness Act, helping ensure public servants like teachers, firefighters, and police officers receive the full benefits they've earned. And Mike Carey is working to deliver tax relief for more Ohioans. Congressman Carey backed historic tax cuts for working families and seniors. That plan eliminated taxes on tips and overtime, expanded the child tax credit, and provided thousands in tax relief for Ohio seniors. Because whether you're working, raising a family, or planning for retirement, every dollar matters. Visit carey.house.gov to learn more or get help accessing benefits or dealing with a federal agency. Congressman Carey's office is here to help and fighting to help your family keep more of what you earn. Paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Mike Carey.
Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
$604 million. That's the Ohio Lottery's current Mega Millions jackpot. $604 million. That's 604 million more reasons to play. Buy your Mega Millions tickets today. If scratching is more your style, check out the new $50 Millionaire Blowout Scratch-Off for a shot at $1 million instantly. Or pick up any Ohio Lottery Scratch-Off to put a little play in your day. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Jacob Reimer. A streak has come to an end across the pond at the Scottish Open. After a 2/72 today, Scotty Scheffler will see his 78 consecutive cuts made snapped. This is the first time the world number one has been outside of the cut line since 2022. In baseball, the Guardians continue their road trip tonight in Miami, visiting the Marlins at 7:10. As for Cincinnati, the Reds stay at home, starting a series with the Cubs tonight, also at 7:10. College basketball, Ohio State will play Cincinnati in an exhibition next year as part of the CareSource Invitational. The game will be played at the Lindner Family Tennis Center on October 7th. We'll get Jake Diebler's thoughts here in 15 minutes live on Bishop and Friends. And Bruce Thornton will make his NBA Summer League debut at the Rockets tonight at 6:30. The former Buckeye was drafted 31st overall by Houston in this year's draft. This update is sponsored by Ramos Roofing. Request your free roof or exterior assessment today at RamosRoofingOhio.com. Ramos Roofing, reliable, local, built right. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat because Uncle Beau is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
Final hour of the program on this Friday. You heard it there in the update from Jacob Reimer. Probably about 13 minutes right now. We'll talk to the head coach of your Ohio State men's basketball team, Jake Diebler. Talk to him about the CareSource Invitational happening between Ohio State, Cincinnati, Dayton, and Xavier. Also get his thoughts on how the offseason is going right now for the Buckeyes. Then coming up at 11:30, we'll talk to Aaron Portzline. He covers the Columbus Blue Jackets for The Athletic. Get his thoughts on the article that came out in The Athletic talking about what fan bases in the NHL should feel most insulted this year. The Blue Jackets, by the way, in that article are fourth with a 6.5 out of 10. They should be insulted. And I feel like that's a little low for Jackets fans this offseason.
We always feel insulted.
Maybe that should be a little high. This coming down, I just saw maybe some good news for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Kevin Kurz, who covers the Philadelphia Flyers in The Athletic, just had an article about the Flyers. They had the big offer sheet to Leo Carlsson. We found out last night that Anaheim was going to match that. He talks about what might be next for the Flyers, and he said it probably isn't an immediate switch, turning their attention to Adam Fantilli. So that's good for the Columbus Blue Jackets because I know a lot of people thought maybe the Flyers would be coming for the Jackets' restricted free agent center. I'm still kind of surprised that they haven't got that locked up after that offer sheet was signed by Carlson.
Yeah.
I would think they would want to have gotten him signed as quickly as possible, so that couldn't happen. But good news that it doesn't seem like the Flyers are looking this way.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will. We can't have nice things around here, Baker. You know that.
It sure seems like that, doesn't it? All of those things, just a lot of what's been happening in a busy sports week in the calendar here in July. What we learned this week.
We're not trying to do too much around here, but over the course of 5 days, you might have gleaned some stuff. Bishop and Friends present What We've Learned This Week.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Make a reservation today at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
And I think the first thing for me with what we learned this week was the news yesterday that the CareSource Invitational is happening. Ohio State, Cincinnati, Dayton, and Xavier, they're all going to get together on October 7th, play a couple of exhibition games in the Lindner Family Tennis Center there in Mason, where they hold the Cincinnati Open. And it may not be exactly what we want, but it's a step in the right direction to have some meaningful college basketball teams between some of the better college basketball programs in the state of Ohio. I know some people are going to be like, Akron's been great here recently, and look at what Miami has done. And I wouldn't be even mad if this expanded to like 8 teams in the state of Ohio. You got OU in there, and Akron, and Miami of Ohio, maybe Toledo. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I just hope it's something, a step in the right direction to having some of these games in the regular season and just helping grow the game of basketball in Ohio.
Yeah, I think adding that to, whether it's a full event, multiple games or round robin or, whatever format it winds up taking, this does feel like the entry point to that. And it would be great for, the game of basketball in this state, which, it doesn't, as Reimer mentioned early on in the show, doesn't have the same reputation as Indiana or maybe North Carolina, but certainly has produced plenty of high-level basketball players and a lot of history in the state. So I hope that gets to that point. But you got to start somewhere, and with an exhibition game on a tennis court, maybe that'll lay the foundation.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what the weather's going to be like for that day. October 7th. I couldn't even imagine if they actually did make this in the regular season. And
I don't think they'd be playing it outdoors if that was the case.
If they did,
not in Ohio, at least.
Yeah, exactly, because that'd be way colder than for that. But no, I'm excited for it. It's a cool opportunity. 3 other programs that are going to have tournament aspirations and making deep runs, and all the rosters constructed this year are going to be much better than what they were last year. And you get Cincinnati and Jared Calhoun's first year at the helm there, and bringing a lot of guys from Utah State with him. So be interesting to see for sure how they look. It's going to be a great test and kind of see where they're going to be at for sure.
Reimer, and this is no disrespect to the Lindner Family Tennis Center down there in Mason, because it's a beautiful facility.
Absolutely.
It holds ATP event every year, the Cincinnati Open, and they've done a lot of work down there, and it's awesome. But maybe the best case scenario for this is that we have a little bit of weather that day, because the backup plan is heading over to UD, the University of Dayton Arena, and I love that arena. I think it's awesome for college basketball. I was there last year for the first 4 when Miami played, and it was raucous. I'm there for the state basketball tournaments for the high school. I love the place. It's perfect for basketball. I think it's perfect for something like this. Now, if this is something that continues and goes into the regular season, we'll probably have rotating venues for it. But weather might be the best thing on October 7th.
Yeah, we can also pretty easily see where else it would be if you're not going to have it on campus. Maybe they feel that it would be unfair to have it at Nationwide, but if you played this in Cleveland, would anybody complain about that? I think everyone would make that trek up there for those 4 fan bases. It would be a phenomenal environment, very cool, especially if you play, multiple games. If you get 4 games out of that on the weekend, that would be a great little doubleheader. So hopefully it gets to that point. That's my dream. We'll ask Jake Diebler about that in the next segment.
Baker, you had mentioned going to Dayton for the opening round. You saw Miami and everything. Well, as we know, the tournament expanded to 76 teams. And
you love that move, though.
No, I don't. I don't know where that came from.
My mistake.
Well, it just came out yesterday.
We're a hoop head, so more hoops. Isn't that better?
This is, that's the positive spin on it, I guess. But it came out yesterday that we have the other Dayton, and that's going to be in Wichita. So they're going to have the opening rounds as well for the next 2 years and kind of play it out and see how it goes there. So that's something I learned this week, just came out yesterday, the NCAA picking Wichita.
So Eric Rieser on this program always talks about Oklahoma City. I believe he had a brother that lived out there, and he talks about Oklahoma City, and when he does, he says it's just flat Dayton. And I'm guessing Wichita is kind of the same, so
I could see that.
Maybe it makes a little sense. I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't go Vegas for those, as I know they wanted to have another venue out west to probably try to help the team. So I think it was Texas last year that had to play at UD and then go straight out to like Portland, Oregon or something. And it was like one of the first games of the tournament.
They made it to the Sweet 16. They beat BYU and Gonzaga.
Yeah, I want to make it a little easier for those teams maybe that are heading to the West Coast. So
perfect solution, Laramie, Wyoming.
All right. They got a good gym there for it?
Dome of Doom.
Absolutely.
The Arena Auditorium holds 15,000 people. Most people don't know that. Welcome to 7220. How's your oxygen, baby?
It's underrated. Albuquerque was very deep in the running for it, and I would have
heard that.
I would have liked that playing some of the games at the Pit. That would have been pretty electric.
They don't want to give. I wouldn't think that the Pit would want to give up the opportunity to host the first or second round. I mean, there have been a lot of historic games down there. That's another wonderful arena and great experience out there.
The other thing I want to get to real quickly, Austin, and maybe we've known this for the past couple weeks, but the World Cup is winning.
Yeah.
They have the final combined viewing numbers on Fox and Telemundo for the USA-Belgium game. It is 50.1 million viewers for Mexico-England, 46.7. The most watched non-sports event in the U.S. since the 1994 Winter Olympics. The World Cup's been a hit in the United States.
But we did learn on Monday night that the brights were too bright. Lights were light. Lights were too bright.
They
once
were
again.
too light.
I mean, it's got me so rattled just thinking about what happened in that game that my brain is melting down. So disappointing the way that they played. And maybe we didn't learn that because we've known for many years that this is about the ceiling for the United States men's national team. But we had been tricked. We'd been bamboozled. We'd been fooled for those first four games that maybe there was a deeper run in the works and that it was okay to dream and we were being encouraged to do so. You go to the quarters, go to the semis, dare the impossible dream. No, it wasn't real. We're awake and it was a nightmare.
Let's hope that the lights are not too bright for the Buckeye basketball team this coming season. Their head coach, Jake Diebler, joins us next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
The Reds are on the radio.
Swung on, crushed. High, deep left field. There it goes. A 3-run go-ahead blast for Eugenio Suarez. They're waving around Friedel. Up throwing Anthony. Throw to the plate, not in time. And the Reds walk it off at 11, 6-5.
The quest for October baseball is underway. Hear all the action all season long on your home of the Reds.
Cool Cool cars, cool people, good times. Get ready for the biggest and best automotive happening of the year. The Good Guys 28th Summit Racing Nationals presented by Grundy Insurance. Over 6,000 classes. Shop the swap meet in Huge Fender Midway. See which ride takes home the crown of the Good Guys 2026 Forge Line Street Machine and Classic Instrument Street Rod of the Year. All this weekend at the newly renovated Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Details at good-guys.com.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
One bite in, you'll be saying, that's hot as fire. Speedway's new Hottest Fire Chicken Sandwich turns up the temp. Eat the heat for $4.99 only at Speedway. Valid through 8/25/26. Participating stores. Exclude Speedy Cafe. See app for full terms.
No! USA is up 2-0. That is the most dangerous lead in soccer.
Relax, Mike.
See that, Dan? My left eye is twitching. That's my warning eye. It'll be 2-2 by stoppage time. It's never wrong.
With early payout from Bet365, I got paid the second they went up 2 goals. So to me, it's now the safest lead.
Early payout from Bet365, huh? Now my right eye is twitching, Dan.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
What defines Ohio? A place that dares to go first and never looks back. There's no slowing us down. In Ohio, we're powering America. Discovering breakthroughs. Driving the future. Propelling tomorrow. At Jobs Ohio, our mission is clear. Strengthen job opportunities and empower Ohio's workforce. Ohio, our time is now. See Ohio's momentum at jobsohio.com/Ohio's time.
Hey man, stop flipping the channels.
Sorry, I've never seen so many stations.
Hello? How's the ride? Oh, it's sweet. I got all the bells and whistles. Satellite radio.
Hey, I was listening to
navigation system.
Yo, you just missed the stop sign.
Hold on, I just got a text. I'll put you on speaker. 2 DVD players. Wait, hey man, how do you spell?
Near train tracks, stay focused, stay alive. Brought to you by Operation Lifesaver. www.oli.org.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Sunday mornings at 8.
It's the Fan Call-In Show, presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Still watching for a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms for the rest of the day. Better chance is later on. Could be a localized downpour from that. Partly to mostly cloudy skies and highs in the mid-80s. For overnight, a few showers or storms are possible, mainly early in the night, lows in the upper 60s. Then for Saturday, another chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly in the afternoon, highs in the mid-80s. For The Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Ryan Baker, Austin Ward, Jacob Reimer with you on a Friday. We got the exciting news yesterday of the CareSource Invitational. Ohio State, Cincinnati, Xavier, and Dayton all going to be on the same court playing a series of exhibition games on October 7th. The head coach of your Ohio State men's basketball team, Jake Diebler, so kind to join us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Coach, thanks so much for a little bit of your time, especially with the travel schedule. You have been a big proponent of something like this ever since you got the head coaching job at Ohio State. How did this all come about, and why were you so for something like this?
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. And listen, this has been a work in progress for, coming up on close to 3 years and really 3 off seasons. We were close before, but there's so many different people that have to be aligned to kick something like this off. And we finally got to that point, and we're excited to be a small part of it. So really looking forward to the event in October. And, it's important because the basketball community in this state, it deserves something like this. It's good for everybody. You got 4 storied programs. I'm a byproduct of the basketball community in this state. And so I think it's a way for us to give back a little bit as well.
Jake, I don't want to be one of those guys that's, all right, I'm on to the next thing. We're getting something that's cool that a lot of people have wanted with this exhibition. But there's also like your brain works in a way. It's like, all right, can we get to the point where it is a regular season event? Is it a tournament weekend? I know that that's not where your mind is right now, but is this an entry point, do you think, to something bigger down the road? Or what would, I don't know, prevent Ohio State and Cincinnati, Xavier, and Dayton from making something like that happen with maybe more stakes attached to it?
Yeah, listen, I think this is a good starting point, right? And we'll see where it goes. There's non-conference scheduling is really challenging, and it's challenging. There's different challenges for each of us. You know, we play different amount of league games, and there's revenue value in having home games, and there's NIL components attached to stuff. So there's so many different things that go into scheduling in the non-conference and trying to build up a resume. You know, for us in our program, like we want this event to be something that happens year after year, and if it can progress into a regular season event, you know, we would certainly support something like that as long as it allowed us to accomplish everything we need to accomplish from a scheduling standpoint. So I think hopefully this isn't the end game. I understand the desire for this to be a regular season game, and we're in support of that. However, you know, let's embrace what we got in front of us right now, because this is a great thing, and it's a great step forward.
Jake, I love that you guys are doing this with Cincinnati, because not only is it just another matchup with one of the Ohio schools, but it's a matchup for you guys before the season to kind of get a look against another high major program, and it's a great test for you guys. But you guys are also going to be testing yourself in the non-conference. This is one of the toughest non-conference schedules that you guys have put together that I can remember for Ohio State. Can you kind of take us into the approach of how you guys went into forming the matchups at UConn, Vanderbilt? You get Kansas in the Sports Classic. So kind of take us through what went through going into building the non-conference.
Well, it's twofold. You know, first off, I think we wanted to make sure that we were scheduling aggressively so that we were creating opportunities for resume boosting wins. That was part of it. The other part is, I think you have to play tough teams in the non-conference to get your squad ready for what's to come in Big Ten play. I mean, this is the best and deepest league in the country, and if we go into league play and not having tested ourselves multiple times, we're not going to be ready. And so we're going to, you know, have challenges in the exhibition games. We're going to have challenges in the non-conference, and part of, you know, beginning of October to beginning of November is getting ready for, you know, using these exhibitions to get ready for this challenging non-conference, which should help us get ready for Big Ten play.
Talking with Ohio State men's head basketball coach Jake Diebler on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. You guys kept Junie Mobley and Amari Bynum. I know that was number one for you guys this year, but then you got a lot of new faces in, whether it be freshmen like Anthony Thompson and Alex Smith coming in, or the guys from the transfer portal with Justin Pippen, Chris Givens, Andre Yelovich, those guys, Jimmy Williams. Is there any of the new guys as they got on court and this summer working out that has kind of surprised you a little bit? Maybe something that you didn't realize with them?
You know, I felt like we really dug deep on our evaluation of all those guys, and I would say, you know, our evaluations held pretty firm so far. You know, we got some room to grow. I think that's the exciting part of this team. We got some really young players, and Anthony Thompson and LJ Smith and Alex Smith, who have tremendous upside and will get better quickly. And then we got some experienced guys in Justin Pippen and Jimmy Williams and Curtis Givens, who, you know, for us, give us more size in the backcourt. And also, you know, they're still learning what we're trying to do and accomplish in getting ready for Big Ten play. So they got room to grow. I think that's the exciting thing for us is, yes, we are deeper. I think our talent level has increased, and there's also a lot of upside for this team, and that's exciting. And then, you know, John Mobley's taken a big step. His leadership has been tremendous, and we know he can make shots, but he's doing it at a really high clip this summer, picking up right where he left off. Amari Bynum's been more aggressive, which we need from him, which is great to see. And Ivan Nagovin's had a great off season, and this is the best he's looked since he's been at Ohio State. So there's a lot of positives. Josh Ojamuna is now, in live play. So there's a lot of positives going on for us, and I'm excited about this group and can't wait to see where we continue to progress to.
Jake, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago when you sat down with me and Berm about just how much we appreciated, the access, whether that's the open gyms that you've had, regular press conferences this summer. You and Gary have really opened up some of the doors, and this even goes back to maybe your appearance at the Memorial as well. You guys have been open, front-facing, and really, selling the program to the fan base and the public more than maybe it has in the past. What was the genesis of that idea for you? Why is that important for the Buckeyes right now?
Well, I think our fans deserve it. And listen, we're transparent, and this program is a player's program, but it's also a fan's program. I love the support and the energy we've gotten from Buckeye Nation this offseason. I think everybody's really excited about this team, and I felt like when I sat back for a moment this offseason, I said, okay, and you do a kind of an autopsy on all facets of the program. One of the things we felt like we could do was create provide more intimacy into our program, give fans a closer look into what we're doing, and give you guys more access to help tell the many great stories that exist in our program right now. And so we're hoping that this is, just the beginning. We're going to continue to do stuff. And we know that football's fastly approaching and summer's a busy time for us. So I think the timing made sense. And, we want to be available, we want to be open, and we want people to have access to see how we operate. And I'm excited about some of the things we got planned, moving forward to help with that.
Jake, you had mentioned a little bit ago about the addition of Justin Pippen. What have the fit with him and John Mobley Jr. been like? What are your kind of expectations for both of them? Do you kind of see them playing like a split one where, like, if one of them gets the ball off the rebound and they can both of them just bring it up? What do you kind of expecting from those two guards there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think both of them can play as a lead guard. They really, both of them are lead guards. And when I've had them on the same team, which hasn't been very much this summer, they've played great together. What I've loved how they've competed against each other. I mean, they are guarding each other hard. They are pushing each other. The level of competition has been extremely high for this team, and those two have helped set a tone because they're sparring almost every day. I have given them some time together because obviously we need to build that chemistry too, but I've just loved the way they've competed against one another, and it's made for some really fun practices.
Jake, earlier you mentioned Ivan Yagovin, and he's a guy that seems, when you've had these open practices, a lot of people have come away raving about his play and how much he has grown. What have you really seen from him? What's the biggest difference as he heads into year 2 with the program?
Well, I think, his mentality's changed, and he believes in himself at a higher level, and he's playing with more confidence. He's playing with more of an edge. He's worked really hard with his skill. And listen, going into this offseason, he and I sat down really before the season ended, and I said, Yvonne, I believe in you. I want you to be a part of this program, but you and I have got to attack this offseason better than ever before. And to his credit, he did. I mean, he and I spent a lot of time in the gym together. And, I think that helped build that confidence and probably more importantly, consistency, because we saw spots, last year, but he's operated more consistently. And that's why I think when people come in there and they see this 7'2" guy who's moving better, who's doing things a little bit better, it's exciting because his size is a real asset for us.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today. We're excited about the Care Source Invitational. We're excited about the non-conference schedule and the upcoming season for the Buckeyes. Can't wait to see you guys on the court.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Can't wait to see you back in the gym here soon.
He's the head coach of your Ohio State men's basketball team. Jake Diebler joining us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We'll switch from the hardwood to the ice, talk a little Blue Jackets with Aaron Portzline. 2 minutes on the Fan.
Getting a speeding ticket can ruin your day. But what about that cyclist or the pedestrian crossing the street? If you hit them while speeding, you'll do more than just ruin their days. That's why tickets are more than just a fine. They're a second chance. A reminder of what's on the line when you're behind the wheel. You won't get a do-over every time. So take this as your sign to follow the speed limit every drive. Speeding slows you down. Paid for by NHTSA.
Life is full of uncertainties. You can't control the economy, the prices at the pump, or the grocery store, and you certainly cannot control the weather. But the one thing you can control is your home's efficiency and comfort. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us help you take back control of your home by insulating your walls with our premium foam. You give us a call today, we'll come out, we'll insulate your walls, and we'll throw in your attic for free. So give us a call today, 529-2440 or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
I have a buddy who's going to be popping the question soon. He's planning everything out. He asked me, can you help me out with the ring? I said, of course I can. I've got a guy, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Now you talk, Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace. I'm your guy.
Go in, see my friends at Worthington Jewelers, tell them I sent you, and you'll get the true VIP experience.
I'll treat them better than I treat you.
That's not hard. Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged. And tell them Common Man sent you.
Summer is here, and there's no better time to upgrade your ride than at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Whether you're towing the boat, heading to the lake, or planning the ultimate family road trip, now's the time to save. Get $299 APR financing for up to 72 months on the 2026 Toyota Tundra, or lease the 2026 Camry LE for just $319 a month for 36 months and $399 due at signing and 10,000 miles per year. Make this your summer adventure with the team at Germain Toyota of Columbus, conveniently located at the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or shop anytime at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota of Columbus, where summer savings are in full swing.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
They've all been paid by the Cleveland Browns. This is Bishop and Friends.
Well, for a while it had been an eventful offseason for the Columbus Blue Jackets, but the last week has been pretty quiet. We head back out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and join friend of the program, Aaron Portzline, who covers the CBJ for The Athletic. And Porty, one of your colleagues at The Athletic recently did the top 8, I believe it was, NFL or NHL fan bases that should be the most insulted. And he had the Columbus Blue Jackets coming in at number 4, a 6.5 out of 10. And he admits that it's significantly lower than it would have been 10 days ago. But I'm not sure most Blue Jackets fans maybe feel that way. They might feel it should be a little higher with all of the Zach Werenski news and then well, he wants to be here, but will he sign next year? And then Kirill Marchenko. And maybe the biggest insult for Jackets fans is that for 2 years now, we've been told that the Blue Jackets were going to be active and go out and improve this team, but I don't know if we're sure if it's improved or not. Should Blue Jackets fans be more insulted than 6.5?
Well, you know what? I will leave that up to Blue Jackets fans. I think some... Of course, I think you can certainly feel that on social media. I try to be a little careful, though, in reading too much into social media because it's not always reflective of the entirety of the fan base. Honestly, I think it all depends on what you think of Valeri Nichushkin. Like, if you're a big fan of the player, I think you see that as an upgrade. If you're not either familiar with him or not impressed with him, or frankly worried about the risk that comes with acquiring the player, he's been in the NHL program twice, then maybe you're not impressed. I think Nichushkin is absolutely an upgrade on Marchment, different player, and I think they were okay with Marchment and Jenner leaving. If you look at their lineup, it's kind of set. I think the other issue here is what is your level of patience? And from what I can tell, the level of patience is at a negative ratio right now. But like they can't give up on Kent Johnson. They can't give up on Dmitry Voronkov. They have to wait for Fantilli to continue to elevate. Like, this is still a rebuild. So I think all of those things weigh into it, but I don't think anyone's going to be happy. Still left over the lingering effects from how they ended last season and maybe the underwhelming summer. Nothing is going to feel right until they get into the season and it actually looks like a team and it looks like those younger players are continuing to progress.
Porty, I was on a cruise during the Zach Werenski saga, and I didn't take my laptop, wasn't on there, so I wasn't following it. And I got on land right as it was wrapped up, and I'm like, seems like I missed a lot. What were that week covering it? What was it like? How much back and forth? Did you have a lot of inklings before the initial trade request that this was all going on? I'm curious about the reporting side of it for you, because I was ambushed with it all at once, but I imagine it was difficult to follow in real time.
Well, it's just a matter of, it was so murky and so convoluted and so code speak in a lot of different ways. And honestly, I think the issue here beyond anything else is a miscommunication. And I don't know if that's between the agent and the team. I don't know if that's between the agent and some of the national writers that were portraying this. I mean, listen, people can say this was a media creation all they want. The fact of the matter is he was traded to Dallas until he used his no-move clause to negate the trade. So don't tell me that this was all just puffed out of thin air by people looking for clicks. Obviously, there was something there. I think we have to be careful with the verbiage here, too. To my knowledge, Zach Werenski never asked for a trade specifically, never said, I am not going to sign here in 2 years, but made it clear, I have 2 years to go here, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do if improvements aren't made here, if this does not become A, a playoff team, but B, a team that has a chance to go the distance. Now, depending upon who you're listening to, who you're reading, that was portrayed in way different ways. So we'll see where it goes. I don't want to be naive to the situation. Listen, to tell Blue Jackets players that don't worry about it, there's no way that the top player here for the Blue Jackets wants out of town. You can't sell them on that. It's happened too many times. I mean, all the way back to Adam Foote, right? It's happened. Rick Nash, for God's sake. Two of the four guys you'd probably put on the Blue Jackets Mount Rushmore have either asked for a trade or made it clear that they don't want to sign here long term. So there's a history here. There is always a concern among the fan base, and it just conjured up all of those uncomfortable feelings that the fans have, the uncertainty and the inferiority complex, frankly. So it's quiet for now. See where it goes. I think the real tell will be next year when Werenski can extend his contract. What does he choose to do then? Because the Blue Jackets will have to act if he's not willing to extend then.
So, Porty, what needs to happen between now and then so we're not going through the same conversations with Zach next offseason?
Win. And I think, first of all, they need to be in it at the trade deadline, right? They have to be a competitive team this year, obviously. And I think you're starting to see around this league. You see it with the Philadelphia offer sheet. You see it in the way that Florida navigates and Vegas navigates, that there is a different breed of general manager in this league now, where it's less of the take care of your own and be respectful of others, and it's more just out and out 32 teams on 32 teams warfare for players. And we're starting to see that. So do the Blue Jackets need to get way more aggressive? Do they need to have the results from the team at the trade deadline to have the confidence that they can be super aggressive at the trade deadline and go for it, like Jarmo Kekalainen did in 2019? I think it all works together, but I think you want to see if you're Zach Werenski in his camp, you want to see a real push forward and not just hanging around, have a chance to get in, but getting in. That's first and foremost. And then after you get in, continuing to add to your team, take bold swings at players to really move it forward and become not just to get into the playoffs and everybody's happy, but to have a team that can really do some damage when you get in.
Porty, I know you can't really make definitive grades on the offseason until you see the team on the ice, till the results start coming in there. But it feels like a mixed bag. When you were describing the things that have happened over the last couple of weeks, there's maybe some upside, there's some positives, there's the negatives of, the moves weren't made, but with Zach Werenski, with Marchenko, like just negative PR. With the draft, with the moves that have been made in and out, where do you feel like, has this been successful in your eyes? Is it treading water? Where would you evaluate it, you think?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot more that could be done. I think the forwards up front have to be given an opportunity to really see what kind of players these guys are. Like, maybe this is the last shot for Johnson and Voronkov. If it's not there, it's not there. But they've seen the potential there. The back end is solid but not spectacular. That would take, I think, multiple moves to really correct it in the way that you want to. I'm not big on the third pair. I know they took a swing at Noah Dobson last summer, didn't get him. They took a swing at some guys for the third pair this year, didn't get him. So Goodbranson is back. That third pair is the Fabro Goodbranson. Goodbranson's had trouble staying healthy. Fabro took a big step back last year, as did many players. So that's kind of a not great. It's probably a C- on the back end. And I think my biggest issue is that Elvis Merzlikins is still here. And that's nothing personal. It's just, it's been 4 years now of way sub 900 save percentage. Whenever you have one goalie with a save percentage well over 9 and the other one well below 9, that tells you that there's a disparity in the goaltenders, not just the way that this team plays. So I'd like to have a different look there in goal, frankly. And maybe Phoenix Copley can give that to them. I still think he's the guy that ends up in Cleveland. Elvis in his 5.4 last year, the contract is still here. There was no buyout. It doesn't look like there's going to be a trade. So that hasn't changed, and I think that's not a good thing.
Porty, you mentioned the offer sheet that Philadelphia signed to Leo Carlsson that Anaheim has since, we got the news last night, matched. So Leo Carlsson is now the highest paid player in the NHL. That sent a lot of shockwaves through Jackets fans that what would this do with Adam Fantilli? He's a restricted free agent. He needs to sign a contract. Is there any news on contract negotiations with Adam Fantilli, or maybe even possibly Kirill Marchenko, who also had kind of said maybe he didn't want to be here anymore?
Yeah. So I would say this. I think if you're Fantilli, there's no way you're signing a contract until you find out what the Ducks are doing or what the Flyers are doing with Carlson. Like, your power, your leverage right now is an offer sheet. So people have been hypercritical, I think, of GMs, Patrick Verbeek in Anaheim, Waddell here in Columbus. Why aren't these guys signed? This is your fault for letting them get to market. Guys, these RFAs are using the threat and the reality now of an offer sheet as leverage. Like, they don't want to get to the table. They don't want to sign last summer. They didn't. And if I'm Fantilli, I'm not interested in signing until now we know that Carlson was matched. So now, does somebody else want a number one center? Where are we at? Now, I think it's unlikely that an offer sheet is signed, but if you're Fantilli, why not use that? Why not use that as put the fear of God into the Blue Jackets? I'm sure he's getting a better offer now than he was 2 weeks ago. It would be foolish to think that he isn't. My understanding is the two sides are still talking. I think at the moment that it becomes clear that there's not going to be an offer sheet, and we're probably getting close to that here, then that gets the deal moving quicker. As for Marchenko, I don't think there's going to be a contract signed before this season. I think it's going to go to next season. He's still a restricted free agent next season for what that even means anymore. But he's going to want an offer next year too. So I don't think he gets done. I think this is just the new world that we're living in, where being a restricted free agent is not all that different from being a UFA. And one more quick thing. There's two guys that have arbitration cases if they don't have a contract first. Jet Greaves would be July 23rd in Toronto. Cole Sillinger would be July 27th in Toronto. Both one-year deals the Blue Jackets would request.
So still busy things for the Blue Jackets to get done here in this offseason. If you want to stay up on all of it, you need to make sure you got that subscription to The Athletic and you're checking out Porty's work. Aaron, thanks so much for the time. As always, we always appreciate catching up with you.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Aaron Portzline covers the Blue Jackets for The Athletic on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. None of that as a Blue Jackets fan, Austin, has appeased my nerves or fears or any of that.
I mean, 6.5 on the insulting scale. I mean, just imagine I come back on land, Baker, last week, and I'm just trying to catch up on these. It seems like I missed a lot. And I'm like, Zach Werenski, let me go back in time. Let me take this in chronological order. What? He was traded. He asked for a trade. He wants like that. I'm like, this can't keep happening with the best players in franchise history. It's deja vu. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm glad he's here. I want to watch him play more hockey for the Jackets, but reading that after like not knowing anything, I'm glad I wasn't here for like the day-to-day developments of it.
Shock to the system getting off the boat. We'll wrap up the show and do three things next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We're the highest-rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
$604 million. That's the Ohio Lottery's current Mega Millions jackpot. $604 million. That's 604 million more reasons to play. Buy your Mega Millions tickets today. If scratching is more your style, check out the new $50 Millionaire Blowout Scratch-Off for a shot at $1 million instantly. Or pick up any Ohio Lottery scratch-off to put a little play in your day. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
If you have been in a car accident in the past and have settled your case, I may have some good news. Some unethical lawyers have people known as runners who come directly to your hospital room or home and solicit your case. It's a disbarable offense. Anyone that would hire these scumbags needs to have their heads examined. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Now for the good news. If this happened to you, we will sue these lowlifes and fight to get all your fees back. And then look and see if these bottom feeders also malpractice your case and sue them for that too. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Visit forthepeople.com for a free consultation or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. If someone does this to you, call the Bar Association and report them. Let's fight these bums. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Say goodbye to car care headaches with Carvenience from Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. For only $49, we'll pick up your vehicle, leave you with a rental, and return it fully serviced and spotless. No more juggling your schedule or wasting hours at the shop. Carvenience lets you focus on what matters while we take care of all the rest, making life easier. Schedule your service today at HindererMotorCompany.com.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Whether you're repping the orange and brown or shouting Hoo Day, the ultimate football pilgrimage is closer than you think. Ditch the living room, get the family on the road, and make the short drive to greatness and visit the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. From the backyard to the gridiron, it's the one place where every fan comes together to create new family memories. Make it a weekend to remember and see why Ohio truly is the heart of football. Visit ProFootballHOF.com and plan your visit today.
Disasters strike, fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. Direct Relief delivers. No politics, no red tape. Direct Relief is a lifeline to people in crisis. So check them out at directrelief.org. And if you can, donate.
There's this thing repair people do nowadays.
Mappo's Plumbing. Sure. We do have a dispatch fee. It's $1 zillion.
A dispatch fee, a trip charge, going out to your house bill.
Bippity Bing Bong Electrical. Our trip charge is a nice new car.
But not Apex Pros, the pros who knows. When you call Apex for repairs on your AC, plumbing, or electric, there's no dispatch fee.
Thank you for calling Apex Pros. Why would we? Kinda silly to ask for money before we do anything, isn't it?
We give you an upfront price only after we know what's really going on. We think it's the right thing to do, instead of...
Slappy's AC, electric, plumbing, dry cleaning, haberdashery, and chiropractic. Of course we charge to come out. $1 cajillion, 3 diamond rings, and 2 exotic pets.
Apex Pros. Never a dispatch fee. Examples of competitive rates may have been slightly exaggerated.
Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
The Reds are on the Fan's family of stations all season long. If you don't listen, Terry Francona will ride his scooter to your house and yell at you. Your home of the Reds. The Fan 2, and the Fan 3.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Final segment of the week, Bishop and Friends. We got Beau and Rieser back on Monday. I'll
not
be
you.
out, though, not me. We'll talk about that here in a second. Rhyme time. Before we get to 3 things, what do we got in the poll today?
Yeah, the Fan Poll, sponsored by JT Pizza and Pub. Do you think the Care Source Invitational between Ohio State, Cincinnati, Dayton, and Xavier will actually be played outside on October 7th? Options are yes and no, and right now, 56.8% say no, 43.2% say yes.
So it's just a bet on the weather?
Yes.
That's the poll?
We're betting against Mother Nature.
Oh, it's going to be outside, baby.
I know. I'm excited for it.
Let's make it happen.
So I'm going to say it's going to be outside as well because we've had some pretty warm Octobers here recently.
Especially at the start of it, too.
Although I'm going to say I hope it's not because I love UD Arena. I think UD Arena is great, and I think it's the perfect thing, perfect place for something like this. So I think it will be outside.
I think it's going to be.
Sure hope not.
I think it's going to be outside too. But the only thing I'm upset about is that it's not going to be on TV or like on a streaming service or anything.
They need
right
to get
now.
that fixed
Because the point of playing at this in this is the views, not just for the Ohio battles and everything, but you're playing in a tennis court. That's visually appealing to somebody to see what that's going to look like, and to not be able to watch it, you're only able to see it in person. I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose, but
you can stream it, Reimer.
I can?
Just head down there. Yeah, just hold your phone out.
Okay.
Just imagine all the views you get on that.
Use all my phone battery. That's fine.
Yeah, come on. I mean, you can plug it in.
I think the other thing with
Do they have outlets with the seats or something?
You never know. They could.
Press row?
So. I think the other thing with
if I can get a pass to go down there, then yeah, I'll do that.
Is the center court there seats just over 11,000. And you're not going to have a problem filling those seats up for this thing. So go ahead and let's make it accessible for people to see. Now, I know it's exhibition. Coaches don't want to give anything away. Everybody already knows your players anyway. They already know what you're running. They're not gaining any kind of competitive advantage by seeing you play a exhibition game.
We've started this now with charity exhibitions, and you're seeing more and more high level teams play against each other in the preseason, and they're all at least on the ESPN Plus or something like that. But
hey, Diebler said
stuff's out there.
If they're doing something where they're keeping score, they want to win.
That's true.
Somebody pick it up on the TV side of things.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
So as you guys found out today, and some of the listeners already know, I'm going back and I'm watching The Sopranos for the first time ever. I've never seen it. I've heard people talk about it, and I've always kind of had maybe I'll go back and watch that someday. Well, doing the show with Beau, he's talked about, you got to see The Sopranos. You got to see The Sopranos. So it's been a slow process, but I've finally been doing it. And I'm through season 3. Where I'm sitting right now is we need to start season 4, episode 1. And it was a little slow start, but I've gotten into it and I'm enjoying it. But I've had one complaint so far, and it happened again here towards the end of season 3. So if you don't want any spoilers, I think we're way past spoilers.
But if you don't 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Is I've got invested into characters and I really want to see where they go. but then they end the character super soon. Like Richie Aprile. We just got into Richie Aprile, and I was like, man, I really want to see where this goes. There's a lot of things you could have here.
Yeah.
And then he died so soon. And then Jackie Jr., the same thing. I was like, oh, this story's heating up. We're going to see where this goes. And then he's gone. And now I got to invest into new characters, and I'm told they're coming, and I know they are, but I just think we could have got some more stories out of some of these.
That's the way life goes.
They're like bombshells in Love Island, it sounds like.
Oh, boy.
I mean, what's going on at this station?
This guy
with
loves
Love Island?
He cares about Love Island more than he cares about basketball.
He's not the only
Stop
one.
that. That's true. There's something going on at this station. I've never seen an episode of it. I don't understand.
Some weird water in the air or in the systems.
Okay. I don't know. Number one thing for me, I really, really, really want the United States to accomplish something in soccer, and I've just had to come to terms with the fact that it's not going to happen outside of CONCACAF and regional success. They're just not going to win a World Cup in my lifetime. I guess this is what it must feel like to be a Browns fan or tortured Bengals fan like Berm. I thought this would be it. Golden generation, at home, everything. Nope, sorry, it's over. And now I'm going to have to come to terms with that.
Oh, well, I mean, at least thank goodness for Steph Curry and burying the Frenchman in the last Olympics.
Well, yeah. We did win the U.S.
They were calling him the devil himself.
We do have a United States gold medal in hockey, so we can hang our hat on that.
This is true. Thing number one for me, it's a big night at the NBA Summer League out in Las Vegas. One particular for me because it's between the matchups of picks number 3 and picks number 4, which also happened to be Cam Boozer and Caleb Wilson, Duke versus North Carolina. And I'm excited about it because I have not seen Caleb Wilson play in a live basketball game since February 10th. And this guy is appointment television. It was not fair that we didn't get to witness him in March Madness, so I was upset about that. But no, it sounds like he's going to play tonight in his Summer League debut with the Bulls. It's going to be a lot of fun against Cam Boozer, and the one time that they did match up last year, North Carolina came away with that win, and Caleb Wilson outplayed him. So it's also the Summer League debut for our guy Bruce Thornton with the Houston Rockets. They play at 6:30 tonight.
That's a very cool thing. Second
Absolutely.
thing for me, we're not going to have time for 3, so I'll make this my second thing. This is my last day before vacation. It's Wheels Up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Going to miss all of you guys for the week, but you'll have a fun time with Beau and Reese. And I believe Isaiah is in for most of the week. Rhyme Time, you might be in with them on next Friday, but I think that's your show for the next week. So have fun, guys. Thank you for both of you for filling in today for the boys.
Of course. Glad to be here. I'm Wheels Up later this afternoon as well. I'm going to Wyoming, not for a good reason. My grandmother passed a couple days ago.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. She lived a wonderful life, a wonderful lady. So I know people say this a lot. It sounds cliche, but hug your loved ones. I really want to be out there to support my mother. This is not easy for her. Both of her brothers have passed on as well, and now her mom. So going to be a quick trip. I'm going to be back on Sunday, but thought it was important, and I think it's important for everybody out there to take that time wherever you can with your loved ones.
Absolutely. Second thing for me, Rothman and Ice coming up next. Stick around. Joshua Perry is back in again to finish the week with them. And they got Tom Luginbill of ESPN coming up at 12:30. Stick around.
That'll do it for us. Make sure you stay tuned for Rothman and Ice. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. This has been Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Big Voice Guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds.